Okay, hello there, welcome to my third Wednesday stream here on Twitch, where I'm developing in the open and on Wednesdays and Fridays as always. And today we have some more people here because we also have some new things here in the stream. We are going to review apps from now on, and this is the first time today we're going to review an app and things might go wrong, so let's see about that. I hope everything will go fine. But we'll see about that. And welcome to the stream, everyone. So everyone who's there, thank you very much for writing also. So welcome Coding O, saying hey, thank you very much. Sommi is here, hi, also welcome, and thank you for writing. Feel free to ask me any questions you have about iOS Swift development or about anything I do during the stream. That's the reason why I'm streaming. And typically on this Wednesday stream, I'm developing on this app, which is the Open Focus Timer app. I explained in my first stream why I'm developing this for myself mostly. And it will be open source for anybody who might want to use it as well. And here's the list of features. But before we get into this, I actually want to start the streams off with the new app review. And I hope that also our, basically our app to review, or the person who developed it, is also around in the chat. So thank you for being around and watching me while I'm going to test the app. So I'm really looking forward to that. So let's have a look actually before we get started into what app we're going to test. And yes sir, yeah, thank you very much. So I'm really looking forward to it as well. So if you have any questions while I'm testing the app to the developer is actually here in the chat, so you can ask him anything you want. And let me actually give you the link of the app. So with exclamation mark review, you can basically see which app we're reviewing today, and also the link to the developer, link to the App Store, of course. And we're going to go through that. I actually want to show you quickly how we're going to do that. So I have this table created on Notion, where I want to basically over time get all the reviews in. And the idea is basically that I want to share this document with the developer, and the whole purpose of the review is first and foremost that I want to basically give an opportunity for the developer to see how one user, at least, which is me, is using their app the first time. And I have actually not opened this app yet, so you can see I have installed it, and this is my phone connected there. And I haven't opened it yet. I've only seen the stuff that the developer shared on Twitter, so I haven't also really had a look at the store page. So we're going to actually look at that as well. And I have created this template, so to say, so as a reminder also for myself to know what things we're going to test. And this is kind of a work in progress. I think after a few reviews, this should settle down. But I want to check the store page first. So we're going to start with that, having a look at different things there, like the app icon, video, description, etc. Then we're going to actually have a first app use. So I'm basically going to use the app like I think most users are going to use it. So just having a quick look, going through the onboarding quickly, having a look at the app quickly, and then trying to already have like an opinion on the app. Like I think most users are going to use the app. And then the first step is going to be an app features exploration. So I'm going to have a more detailed look at every feature, and thinking about different kind of things. And maybe, I don't know if you want that actually. So let me ask the developer here if he actually wants us. So let's also give a shout out to the developer. So it's Andre. I hope I said the name right. Let me actually open that here. So this is the developer, who's also now in our chat available. Okay, this account doesn't exist. I think there's maybe something wrong with the link there. Oh yeah, the app doesn't belong there, so that's an issue with the link I have posted. But Andre, welcome, and yeah, I can't wait. This kind of feedback is so valuable. Let's see if it's valuable. I hope it's going to be valuable. But the question is, do you want me to also go into a little bit of QA, where I could go and try to break your app? So that's something you can think about while we're doing this before we get started. I could go into that as well. And lastly, and I basically asked for this on, definitely great to hear that. So we're going to do that then. And the last thing I want to do, and that's kind of a thing that makes this a little bit more social, a bit more community driven, because I want to provide something for developers to share also on Twitter or wherever. And kind of a certificate I want to create. I haven't designed it yet actually, so I still have to design it. So I will not share it today, probably tomorrow or something. But basically I want to go through different parts of typically that apps are important for apps to be really good. And I want to kind of rate them with a 1 to 3 star rating. So not really too detailed, but just have a general feeling on the first impressions of these different parts. And then, yeah, I want to create some nice graphic which has all these ratings in it. And the whole purpose also on these things is not just to rate something, because rating makes things like comparing things and things. It's more about highlighting the parts that probably need most work. For example, if I see that everything is great on the app, except maybe for 1 or 2 things, then it's clear, okay, these 2 things should be focused on first to improve the app from my point of view. Okay. That's basically, yeah, quick introduction into how I plan to do this. Any questions on that part? If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, I would actually get right to the review, because we want to get through this and get back to development. So this is my phone connected. I think we're going to have a kind of app here where I'm going to need to do some movements. So let's see how that will go. But yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is have a look at the store page, and I'm actually going to open it. I think I have it already open here. So that's the store page of the app. So I'm just going to act like I saw this the first time. You should offer this kind of review as a service. Really cool. Yeah, I don't know about that. I definitely want to. I'm a developer myself, so I want to make money with apps as well. And but if this is helpful for indie developers, I'm really happy about that. So I really hope it's going to help. And yeah, let's see about that. So this is the App Store page. So first time we're having a really good look into this. Obviously, I've seen the app icon before, and there are some reminders here what I want to look at. Obviously, the app icon. So the app icon, just looking at the app icon, I'm under the impression that this is definitely something about sports. So something to do with sports. And it also looks like it's probably something where you compete with people, because it's like the yeah, typical thing you compare your strength with someone. So looks like competition somehow. And it looks also kind of like about friendship. So I mean, these look like 2 friends that are just competing for fun, about friendship. Hand wrestling maybe. Welcome to the chat. EasyFip, I don't know how to say that. Epic handshake. Okay, I'm not going to open links here. I hope you can understand that, but others in the chat, feel free to do that. And yeah, so that's the app icon. For the colors of the app icon, it is all black and grayscale. So I have the feeling that this is about something serious also. So like at first it looks like competition and friendliness, and then the color, the black, gives more seriousness to it or heaviness to it. So maybe it's about power or something. It's about, maybe, I mean, if it's about fitness or something, maybe you have to strengthen your muscles and things like that. It makes sense to have that coloring. I think that makes sense. So black gives feeling of seriousness or just heaviness. Some heaviness to it, but that's for the app icon. Other than that, I'm not really sure if this app icon will look good if it scales down to really small sizes. I think it's fine, so you can still see that it's arms, but one thing I can already say is that the arms contrast, like, I mean, they have some contrast, which is good, otherwise it's impossible to recognize them. But I don't know, if this was stylized more and they just were like yellow arm and the blue arm or something like that, the contrast would be much higher. I can imagine that some people maybe don't recognize this as 2 arms if it's too small, but that's something to be tested out. Oops, oh, now I opened the app, sorry for that. So but that's for the app icon. Let's get to the title. So Pushoji do push-ups. Okay, Pushoji sounds like push-ups, like with the extra do push-ups thing, and OG because of emoji, I guess. Or is there some other things? Is there like some emoji kind of feature? That's like the name implies has something to do with emoji. That's my first thinking there. Counter, plans, and challenges. Counter, plans, and challenges. So I'm expecting a push-up counter now. So push-up counter, because it says push-up in the title, and subtitle has counter. Counter expected. Plans and challenges. So I can plan also my workouts, I guess. Plan or schedule workouts. That's my feeling. And challenges. So there is some challenges there. Great. Challenges. I'm expecting some social features. And I've already heard or seen on Twitter that there's even support for shared play. So there's definitely support for that. I'm not going to be able to test that out. So that's that. Let's go to the visual stuff. So the preview, let's have a look at that. So push-up app for you. Do more push-ups every day. Watch yourself getting stronger. Okay, there's someone leaning at the ground and their nose is right above. So do I have to make push-ups and it's counting by my nose tapping maybe the screen or something? These reviews are amazing content. I hope one day you'll be reviewing my app. For sure, yeah, of course. Definitely write me on and hit me up on Twitter and then we can have a look at that as well. So definitely someone is doing a push-up here, and this is already giving me a feeling. I really like that the first screenshot already shows how you use the app. That's definitely absolutely great there. First screenshot shows how to use the app. So there's someone actually lying on the ground and using. I'm expecting this to be like the main use case. It's me, haha, hello. Dan Pecker, welcome to the stream. Thing is, I don't have an app yet, but I'm working on it every day, still in learning process. Of course, everyone's starting out. I also started out, and I'm actually starting out as an indie developer also myself right now this year. I just started this year. So all the topics like marketing and getting the word out, I have no experience with that as well. So still a lot of things to learn for me as well. Cool. Let's get on with it. So second screenshot, automatic counting. 27 today. Okay, so some way this screenshot shows me it's kind of automatically counting, which I thought about with nose counting or something like that. But also the icon that I see here at the top right gives me the feeling actually that there might be some Bluetooth or some Wi-Fi or some features related to that. So icon on or waves on the second screen shot. Make me expect some kind of connectivity. Let's continue though. Then we have follow plans tailored to you. Okay, so what is this screen? This looks interesting. Push-ups to do. 10. It's going down. Numbers going. So it looks like. So I've been to a gym before. So in the gym, you typically like do some exercise for a specific amount of like for 12 times or 15 times. And the numbers also make sense here. They fit and they're getting lesser, like it's also in the gym. And you have quick breaks in between. And this is like five sequences. I don't know how they're called officially. Maybe you can give me the right term there. But I'm expecting this has maybe something to do with that. So this is my progress during one push-up session. Maybe that's like the counter that I'm having. Or no, that's the counter. Suitable for all fitness levels. So there are different plans I can do. So it makes me feel like, okay, I'm going to be covered. This doesn't matter which level I am. That's, I think, being fulfilled there. Have fun with your friends. So there we go. Okay, I can see that at the bottom we have someone who the person's FaceTiming with, and then we have three things there: Daniel Pecker, Andre, and okay, it's Daniel Pecker. So that's yeah. I think you were also part of the app development. I also want to know like how were you involved in this app? Were you like the designer? Did you also develop? What's your involvement there? Would like to know that as well. So 3 people somehow. Oh, experience shared. Okay, there are emojis definitely involved, so that feeling was not wrong entirely. And I can say at the bottom you can give like emojis. Is it with the nose then when you're like doing this movements? How do you tap on them while doing the workout? But we're going to see. Yeah, that's like, I think that's already more detailed. Look at the screenshots than most users will. They will probably just scroll through here. But I went into more detail what impression I have. Okay, let's continue. So we have a description, and I'm going to actually read this part. That is not, so I'm not like this text, just for your information, is not as detailed as the things I'm talking here. And I think that's also not a problem, because I'm going to keep this this stream on Twitch for 2 weeks. And also starting tomorrow, I will also move the old streams always onto YouTube. So you can always rewatch it if you need to. So I was involved in the first prototype hacking. Okay, so this was like basically, did you try to hack this together on like the first day or something? Is that how it started? Would like to know the background there as well. But okay, here, the description. I'm going to actually have a look at this, because I think this part, which is like the truncated part, is the most important one. This is as much as most people will actually read. The app that helps you move your push-ups to the next level. Do push-ups with ease thanks to the automatic count. So okay, that's all in line with what I'm expecting until now. Cool. Description. Let's have a more detailed look, a little bit more detail, without reading everything. So I'm just going to read out the things that I would actually read in my head when I just skim through this. So I would read here, why push-ups? Push-ups are fast and effective. Okay. Automatic counting, I see. Plans and challenges, cool. Share play, a lot of text there. I just read 32 friends here, and iOS, iPadOS 15.1 or later, okay. Team brought to you by Andra and Dan, okay. Then we have terms of use and things like that. So that's all I would actually read here. I wouldn't read anything else. Yeah. Let's continue. Next. So description. Adds like expectation, share play, and iOS 15.1 expected, and up to 32 people. I wonder if this is a limit of the share play framework, or if this is a limit basically of the app somehow. Yes, it started as our private hackathon in November 2021, where we tried to implement the share play as a main feature, but it evolved a lot since then. I see. So the whole app was built around the idea of using SharePlay then. That's interesting. So you didn't have like, oh, I wanted to do that like all the time, and now I have like a reason for doing that, something like that. Somebody says nice. Okay. Next I want to have a look at the privacy. So I see data not collected. This is the best thing you can actually imagine and expect here, which is great. But let's also click on that's something I do. I don't know if every user does that, but I always also press the developer's privacy policy link just to see what the privacy. Oh, wow. That's exactly what you wish for. So on the page itself, you saw like no data collected basically. And also the privacy policy itself is very clean, very clear. And it says it is simple. Pushoji does not collect any of your personal data. The app has no access or even interest in any personal data. The bottom line, you don't have to worry. I would actually read this fully, so I would be really happy about seeing this. Let's put it, no data collected. That's perfect. And also very, very important to me is that it's also transparent exactly what data is collected. In this case, it's simple, of course, but in other cases, I mean, not every app can just collect no data at all. In some cases, you have to collect data to provide even your experience. And in that case, what I'm going to rate here or plan to rate here is if it's clear what data is collected and why. So you have a feeling for that. Cool. So one other thing I check is where it works. It works on iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, and Mac. Requires 12. Okay, so N1 chip required there. Yeah, it's not Mac Catalyst. So availability, basically everywhere. Expected. The other question is if it's also optimized for them. That's not something I'm checking here. Oh, the languages. So only English is available. I don't see any other languages listed here. So that's definitely something you can work on to provide more languages, obviously, which will make the app more accessible to more people worldwide. but I think you'll probably know that. Then we have the developer website, and yeah, basically that's it. That's the store page look. Do I have anything written here that I forgot? Transparency, scope summary. That's, I think, about it. And the overall impression on the store page is definitely, I have the feeling that this is a very clear, focused app. So clear, focused app. I also have the feeling that it's basically about, yeah, again, using a new technology and having fun with it, while also getting healthier. Let's put it like that. So overall, definitely something that is very positive, I would say. Cool. Nice. Let's get to the second part, which is the first app use. So let's use the app, and I will actually remove my keyboard here from in front of me because I'm expecting I have to do something. So let's open the app. We already saw that this was the first screen. Welcome to Pushoji. And again, I'm going to just read what I would actually read as a user. Push-ups are a fast and effective exercise for building strength. They are focused. Okay. Let's go next. I will try to swipe. It works. Nice. Automatic counting. Nice. Focus on the push-ups. Okay. Let's click next. Let's swipe back. Okay. All working. And the next button also has a nice press state. Plans and challenges. Can I scroll here? No. Okay. Follow a plan tailored. Okay. Oh, that's actually something I want to know. Tailor to your level and keep improving. Do your push-ups every day. Watch yourself getting stronger. Have fun with your friends. Start a FaceTime call. Yeah, that's exactly what I was. So anybody who doesn't know what what's the framework that they're using here, SharePlay is. It's a new framework in iOS 15.1. I think it was introduced, where you can call somebody via FaceTime. So it's just from iOS devices to iOS devices or to Mac. And then basically what happens is that somehow this call also has a new layer, an extra layer on top of the video or audio that you typically have, which is for the app that you currently have open. And then the app can exchange data. If you have this app open, then the app can sync some kind of experience. And that's basically what they're using here. Done. So for the onboarding steps tutorial that we had there, already definitely very positive. So let's go to the guide here. Was simple, short, visual, and I think it's to the point. Like, not everybody reads the text, the full text. I didn't also, but I didn't have the feeling I had to read the text. I read the titles. I think that was enough. So onboarding continues here. I see I'm on a new screen. I'm expecting this is the main screen from now on, where I start the app. It's telling me place your device on the ground, start doing push-up. So that's definitely a clear call to action. And this is also kind of an empty state. So on first start, call to action, guide continues. Let's put it like that. This is very positive. This is exactly what it should be like. So let me actually put it on the table here. Place your device on the ground, start doing... I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that. Let me try actually doing push-ups, like sitting push-ups or something like that. Okay, place your device on and start doing push-ups. Nothing happened. Oh! First counter. I hope that cry wasn't too loud. Second. Wow, it works. Actually, it gets black shortly whenever I enter, when I go there. I was so scared. No worries, I was just putting it wrong, I think. 4, 5. But there's more. Be sure to visit workout. I will actually continue here. And obviously, I'll be able to do real push-ups, at least 10 of them. So let's go for that. There you go. Okay, 10 push-ups. 10 today. Okay, the information has disappeared, so I didn't really I don't remember what it was saying. So that's maybe something that you can keep in your mind, that if someone just continues their push-ups, they will not read what was written there. But okay, that was a start. Let's see how we can continue. 10 today. So now I don't know really what to do next. That's like a little bit confusing here, but I would just try clicking on the screen. Oh, set goal. Okay, set goal and share. If I start sharing, I will have the share sheet come up. That's also what I would expect there. And I can set a goal, daily goal. Oh, okay. Set how many push-ups you want to do per day. You can do them all at once or gradually during the day. Don't be afraid to skip a day. So let's do 10 push-ups a day. Oh, nice. Okay. Ooh, 100 push-ups is on fire. No goal. Ah, I see what you did there with the emojis. But actually, I think it would be cool if there was more variety of emojis, especially because most users are going to stay in this 5, 10, 20. And also, if I just click once on one, I will never know that the other ones have different kind of icons. So maybe you want to hint at the icon in some way. I'm not sure, but that's like my first thoughts when I see this. And click done. Okay, this is actually changed to wrong. Let's stay with that. Okay. So it uses proximity sensor, that's why it gets black or sometimes doesn't register. We're planning to use AR to actually detect face distance. So does that mean that the iPhone itself gets black? So it's the iPhone that sees like, okay, this could be a phone call. Ah, this is a phone call. No, it's not a phone call. We're not on SharePlay here. Thank you for following DigitalOcean TV. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if you're the company DigitalOcean related to that in any way, but thank you and welcome to the stream. Dan Pecker, yes, exactly. Okay, let's continue with like the first usage. Your goal is 10 push-ups. I've done 10 push-ups. Why don't I get some kind of celebration now? Is it because I set the goal afterwards? Or how does that work? Let me try to do 1 or 2 more. Maybe I will get something then. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Nice. That's exactly what I was expecting. And it did happen. And you use like a cup and hands up, which is maybe problematic here because they're turning and moving, so it can be hands down also while it's going down. Something to think about there as well, maybe changing up that emoji, but cool. Okay, what next? That's like I think the biggest issue I have with this screen. I don't know what to do next because the button at the bottom of the screen, I can see them, but they're really grayed out. I can't really, it's not really inviting me to click them. Hands up emoji would be safer. Hands up, yeah, sure. I got infected. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for taking part. That's like, but let's try to press them. So workouts. I can see history here. Nice. That's my 11 push-ups from today. I can see it twice. Ah, okay. One is a total. One is okay. One feedback on that on this screen, definitely, is that the 2 entries I have at the bottom, they look exactly the same. They have the same structure, the same level of how much they're in the foreground, and this gives me the feeling that the lower one has the same meaning as the upper one, which is not entirely the case because the lower one is the total. So maybe you wanna let's actually take a screenshot of this. Maybe we can have a look at that later. Then we have at the top, I don't quite understand what this is. Like, what is this green thing here? This is kind of confusing. Is it like a day entry or something? History. I'm expecting it's like the entry of what I did here. So I don't really understand what this view is. I'm expecting it's some kind of visuals, how, yeah, something like a statistics maybe, but why is it like a square? I don't understand yet. Let's click on info. Maybe this will clarify. Oh, okay. It's different colors. Okay, maybe it is different days. Is it something like the thing on GitHub where you, oh, I eventually look like the GitHub chart of commits. Oh, I see. Okay, let's show this off so it's clear what's meant here. So if I just go to GitHub and I just go to my profile, you'll see that there is this kind of view, and this is basically the end goal. But what I can also give as feedback here, which you can also see basically on GitHub itself, if there is no entries, you should still see the different squares there in some way. So they should be grayed out maybe, but you should see them, because for me it's absolutely not clear what this is. because I don't see the grid or something like that. Maybe you want to also show the grid in some way, or maybe you just, when you first show the screen, you just animate somehow. I don't know if you know this animation, what some people use for their skeleton views. So it's like a skeleton animation. I don't know if you know what I mean, but oh no, app skeleton, I mean. App skeleton view animation. They have like a reflection effect that goes over a screen. And let's actually go for videos here. Something like this, I think. Okay. I think they're building it. Maybe it's there at the end. Okay, I can't find it right now, but something maybe like a quick animation that just shows that there's a grid and how it will be filled and where you are right now. But that's like a detail there. That's a great idea. I'll definitely have give it more care. Sure. Then we have the plans: Rising Star, Hard Worker, Champion. Do I like apply for them? Let's see. Oh, I can start the plan. So it's like, okay, day one. Oh, cool. That's nice. So it's like a challenge. It's like something like where you yeah, plan sounds more like a plan you charge me for. So I had the feeling that you're charging me for different plans that I have to book in this app. Maybe you want to use a different word for that. Maybe also it's just me and I just misunderstand, and maybe it's the common word, I don't know. But I would expect more something like challenge or something like that as a word. Shimmer Android. So there's a link. I will always open links to GitHub, so they are safe. Let me have a look. Thank you, Somi, for that link. Exactly, something like this, where you could, like, when you open the screen the first time, just show with the shimmer how the whole screen will look like, and then you can still keep it without them, or you just use the style that GitHub has here. Cool. So champion, how many is 13 days, 50 to 100 push-ups. Is it doable? Oh, I can click these. Oh, it is. Okay, join the club. Do push-ups in style and support our team to make this app even better. Subscribe and cool. And also, what I like about the screen is that there's a video actually in the background. Maybe you want to use that also for other places. This is actually, I think, a really great idea. And it makes the screen nice, but I wouldn't read the text here. The text is, I don't know why, it's just not structured. It's like, yeah, I would like to have more like a list or something like that, a list of things I have as features, or at least the important things highlighted. You can make them bold or something like that. But cool, that's that. Then I saw this information at the bottom. What is that? See, preview plans and related features are still in progress. Ah, I see. So you're still developing on them. And then, oh, there is something called challenges. So that's why they are called plans. And then you have also challenges. Get ready. Oh, it starts right away. That's okay. That's stressful. Push up to do. One. Okay, let me use it like that. Does it work? Okay, I have to really get really close. Nice. This time it's fire. You have to really get close, and maybe there should be some kind of, in the onboarding, there should be some kind of guide where you exactly has to go so the app recognizes that you have actually done the push-up. And I think it's the camera. So maybe you want to have a small like graphical representation of how how the user has to position in relation to the phone. So if you have the phone here, that their face has to be like at the top part of the phone or something like that. So it's more clear to the user how they can make the app count. I mean, users will learn over time. So I would learn this after a few usage, but I think it makes the overall experience at the beginning nicer this way. Let me go back here. I've done the do one. Okay, that's nice. So I see multiple challenges here. And there is a challenge called Marcus. Be like Marcus. Who's Marcus? I don't know this person. But definitely also what I can say is that when you click on them, what I want to know is what this is. What is this? And then immediately a challenge starts already. So I would definitely suggest to, and also I don't have a way to go back. That's like the thing that is kind of confusing to me. And I would make it more clear that when you press on it, that it starts right away. So one way you could do that, just as an idea, is if you make this whole thing pressable to show more details, and have an extra start button somewhere in here. Or indicate somehow, for example, the play icon. If you just have a play icon here, that it will. I think it will indicate that clicking that starts immediately something that is kind of live or something like that. So that's the two ways I can imagine. So either a button here, or like you have like a big play icon here, so it's clear. Let's also take a screenshot. Maybe we can design that. But get on a FaceTime call, join SharePlay. So it makes the SharePlay feature explorable, and it explains it. That's also something I definitely like here. And the join SharePlay button is also dimmed out, so it's clear that it's currently disabled. I think that's all working fine and nicely here. What else? We have settings. Support, club, sound, daily goal. Okay, this is already getting into detail. So let's write some things down first. So we have had a look at these things. So the guidance, simple, short, visual, to the point. And what I was missing here is the positioning in order for the phone to recognize a push-up. That's something I think that should be part of the guidance. Empty state on first call to action, really good. Guide continues, that's nice. Oops. Then we have interaction feedback. So all buttons, as far as I could tell, have a press state. All buttons have a press state. That's definitely a plus. Also, I can like swipe these things out of the way. So I'm using system navigation. Let's put it like that. It's definitely a plus, because users are used to the system. Then we have the dots here. Stop workout. Oh, I am in the workout right now. So that's also maybe indicating a running workout with something that animates. So it could be something that is pulsating. It could be just a play or a red, like a recording kind of icon. It could be a timer that's counting. Whatever comes into your mind that just gives you the feeling that you're in this right now, because nothing is moving on the screen. Maybe you just also make the 22 pulsate a little bit. Maybe you can find an effect like that. I don't know. I can imagine many things here. Or probably what makes most sense is you have at the top here this 22, because you are currently in this. Maybe you just make this blink or pulsate or something like that. I think that will make it clear that you are currently in this, and this is something that's currently happening, so it's currently going on. Okay, that's for that. Interaction feedback, confirmation. That's related to what we just saw. So when I go to workouts, and then I scroll here and I click on something, it's starting right away. So I see what I've done. Oh, that was a nice animation, by the way. That was really cool. So it switched from one to the other. That was really nice. Well done there. So I'm not having a clear idea of what is going to happen next on that screen. And I learned it the hard way by just seeing this. And I also still, with the live thing, I think that's also important. It's also not clear that it has already started. So it's kind of confusing. And I also can't go back. So that's the last thing. I already mentioned that. So not clear what will happen when I click on one of the challenges. And also note that I'm not sure, as I said before, I have the feeling that the plans are more like the challenges because they are long-term things. And these are more maybe one-off challenges or single workouts or something like that. Or maybe it's something like where you can check what your maximum is. It's like a test, maybe, I don't know. And then we have group workouts, and I can only use them, so I'm not going to be able to test that. But that's so far with the main use case. Let's continue to the app features explanation. So we already had a look at some things, and I can see that I can stop a workout here. Congrats, goal completed. Just for your information, this screen, I happen to read this, but it's not very intuitive that I have to, like this is the answer to what I just did, because it's not like at the top of the screen, and also it doesn't animate in when I enter the screen. So if, for example, let's start a workout again, or what is this called? So if I stop this, congrats, goal complete. This is the previous screen, right? So this hasn't disappeared. This is also kind of confusing. So you still have this open, and I also don't have the feeling that there is some kind of entry screen or something like that. So maybe that's missing. Let's go back here. Probably, I'll just note it here. So going back to first workout all the time. No home screen available. This gives me the no clear kind of any navigation feeling. So I'm not really sure about where I am right now and things like that. Am I still in the workout? It's like my question here. Can I end it somewhere? No, I can't. Is this like my daily thing and everything else is like an extra? So because these ones look exactly the same, it's not clear that it's something else. And actually they don't look exactly the same. They kind of look different. I see it now. Okay. Maybe it's not that bad of a thing, but you can see that it was not very clear to me. Maybe you want to think about how to make it more clear that this screen is different than the other. Could be background change. Could be maybe just giving the screen a title at the top, something, and that just clarifies what the screen is. But now let's go into the settings and have a look at what else we have. So we can turn on sound and turn it off. Let me turn it on and see what happens. Okay, I can hear like a click or a click, something like that. I think you can't hear this in the stream, but it's not very loud or something. Daily goal, I can change it here too. Okay, nice. How does it work? Oh, push up to get on the ground, put your phone right below your head. Do push-ups, use goal. Okay, in this screen, definitely very great that there is some kind of explanation. But here again, I would just make it visual. Maybe you want to just put like a graphic where you show that the phone's cameras, and you need to highlight cameras, have to be like the head has to be above the camera, which is at the top of my phone. So not just my face needs to be on top of the phone, also it needs to be even farther. Maybe you need to make that clear as well. Shared workout, simply start a FaceTime. Cool. I think that's good. Now you have these things answered. Rate the app. That's something we're going to do actually at the end. Makes sense. And tell your friends. Opening a share sheet. And what exactly is shared here? Can I somehow check this? Let me copy. It's just... So it's a link and a text. Okay, I see. So for sharing, one tip I can definitely give you is share something visual. So if you share text, it's nice for like sharing it via some messaging app. But nowadays people share things via social media, and they want to share, like, especially if I've completed that thing and I have this great animation, I actually want to share the number and then the animation. Maybe you can take a screenshot when you show this, like this animation. You just take a screenshot there, or you just create a screenshot when the share sheet is clicked, and then you make it a nice image that can be shared on Twitter, on Instagram, or wherever I want to do that. And then attached to that, you can also add a text. Maybe it is or it's already there. I just didn't see it because I let me try out. Can I? No, there's no secure image. Save to files. Yeah, I think it's just a text here. So you might want to consider that as well. But other than that, let's see what we don't have here. So we don't have any kind of notifications. So definitely one thing you could do is reminder notifications. Obviously, you don't have to have all the features in version 1, and I can totally understand that it's not there yet. It's just the first version, or just the like. It's just, you just started in November, right? This is really amazing what you've accomplished until February. So January, we're still in January. So that's great. Definitely great, but just giving you ideas what you could continue with. So reminder notifications make this more useful. I didn't see reminders there, and you can just use local push notifications, so you don't need any remote notifications for that. then you could make the colors adjustable, could make the app more personalized. Yeah, lots of plans go, so little time. I totally understand. I exactly know what you mean. Just collecting some more ideas here, so you have even more to go through. App icon configurable. And that's always nice because iOS provides these things. And color adjustable makes it hard on the code level because you have to like change all the colors everywhere and make sure that it always works and things like that. I can also understand if you don't do this right away, but long term, I think personalization for something like this app, which is also simple enough, is really nice. Feedback, how easy is it reporting bugs? And can I vote for feature requests and things like that? So I didn't see any way to actually contact the developers here. So I just see something like an FAQ here. Then I see I can rate the app, which is like rating it means I tell you if I like it or not, and then tell your friends. So I share, but there's no way of like contacting you. There's no button which I can click to write you an email, for example, which can be the easiest way to do that. So simple email contact, maybe add it for bug reports and feature requests. In the best case, of course, you have some kind of integration there where it's also possible for me to explore other feature requests, but that's more for long term. I think for the start, it's absolutely enough to just have a button that just opens the email sheet or something like that, which is already better than having nothing to do there. Then system integration, does the app provide widgets, Siri short? Let's try out. Oops. Because we just know if we actually try to add one. So let's search for this app. Pushoji, okay, it's not there. So I am expecting no widgets there yet. And also if I want to add a new shortcut. So let's try. Okay, I don't see any Pushoji. So I'm expecting they're not supported yet. And I wouldn't also know what makes sense as a shortcut here. Probably like start a session or something like that. Maybe start FaceTime. I don't know. I don't have a good idea. So maybe it's not needed. Widgets. I think a counter widget would definitely make sense here. Would be just a nice addition. And it could also just have, if you're starting a plan, for example, if I go here, start a hard worker plan, it could also just show my progress there. But it's not really something that provides so much more value that I would say that's the most important thing to do next. But it's definitely something that could be done. Other than that, I don't see what other integrations would be needed. You definitely have SharePlay support. That's amazing. And maybe widgets with like a today widget, maybe today widget. What's your progress today? Okay, next, accessibility. So is this app, does it make sense to make? Yeah, so we already said that it's not localized. So not localized yet. And I didn't see many texts in the app, so I think localization should be doable. And next thing is that dynamic type we didn't try out. So let's try out the dynamic type. Let's go to the settings, general. Oh, I think it's accessibility. Let's go to display text and size. Let's just make it larger, a lot larger, so we see the difference. I don't think it has reacted. Do I have to restart the app? I don't think so. Let's try. Oh, the color has changed. Wow. Is that because I completed my my goal? That's really nice. So I see a lot of visual changes here. They just don't happen at the right time always. So I would have expected to be there already. So that's maybe a small bug there you might want to fix. And also, I think when I made the first time, when I met the 10 goal, I didn't recognize when I went back to the screen right away that I had met it. I had to do one more push up for it to recognize that. So that's the second small bug that I think we can mention here that could be fixed. But that's nice. Let's see about the text sizes anywhere. I think this is always the same text size. I mean, it's large enough for most people, but if you really have bad eyesight, so that's something you might want to add. So no dynamic type. Actually, the golden counter is thanks to subscription. Oh, I see. So it has recognized that I have a subscription. which I was provided with a promo code. I have already made sure that I get that before, and I think I had to start plan. Oh, I see. Oh, there it was. So this is working. The menu here is actually having larger text. So this is probably because the system provides this, but this shows that it's not there everywhere yet. So no dynamic type. Let's try Voiceover. Let's go back to normal size. And for Voiceover, I have set it to just 3 presses on the power button. Okay, so for Voiceover, you can what Voiceover is, just in case you don't know, is if you have a visual if you're visually impaired, so you don't see fully, you don't see 100%, you might need that because you can't read all the things, and if you're fully blind also you absolutely need that. You don't have to look at the screen, you can still use the app, and I can swipe around, and unfortunately I think you can't hear what's red here. But Siri, you can't hear Siri, right? Siri just stopped, but I think you can't hear her. Okay, so I will just read out what they said. So Siri said workout button, which is nice. Let me swipe right. Settings button, definitely working fine, so this works. Swipe left. Okay, I can't swipe to the middle. If I press on the middle, it also doesn't, so it's not focusable. That's definitely something that needs to be clear, because Siri won't read out the current numbers or something. Let's go to workouts. Double tap to dismiss pop-up window button. So it thinks there is a button at the top. So accessibility done works. Workouts, history works, plans works. This works as well. This works as well. Can I click into it? So it's reading out all the text, which is great. I think these screens are working fine. It's not fully optimized because, for example, right now it marks the top place there, this here, and it thinks there is a button there. So there probably is, but it's probably just an implementation detail, and it shouldn't be marked as a button because we already have the done to make this disappear. So let's turn that off again. So no voice over optimization everywhere, mostly workout. I will call it that, not working, but other screens do. Cool. Last but not least, error handling. Can the app handle quick interactions? So I will just try to press buttons quickly. Okay, nothing breaks, even if I press the settings button 2 or 3 times. That's nice. Okay, everything was working as expected, so no worries there. Cool. I'm expecting this where we use a SwiftUI, is that right? Because it has a lot of animations and also the sheet and things like that. Well, which technology are you actually using for this? Bad network, so it's not using any network features. I expect it to work, and does it work offline? So all offline. Yes, SwiftUI. I think everybody who's starting a new app like this will want to use SwiftUI. And this is also iOS 15 only, or 15.1 only. So no reason to not use SwiftUI, I guess. Cool, let's get to the rating part. So I hope that this already helped. And again, just to remind, the rating part is not for rating, so you can compare. I don't think you can compare any of the ratings of any apps with another app that I will review. It's all about highlighting the parts that still need some work, and maybe also give you like 3 stars. I think is always just means it's really great how you've done there. So already to give you some place there. So accessibility, I just sorted this alphabetically. Accessibility, I think this was kind of missing. It's like not localized yet. I would say it is mostly legible, and VoiceOver also kind of works. Dynamic text is not supported yet though. So I think I would just give it 2 stars for the reason being that VoiceOver is working and most of the text is already quite big. Just some small things, and localization is something that I think is easy to do here. Then I would give it 3 stars. So that's 2 stars there. Then we have customizability, colors, app icons, notifications, things like that. I think currently the app is new and it's just not customizable yet. That I think is something that will be added later. So I would just go with 1 star for that for now. Then we have design, colors, navigation, icons, consistency, platform fit. So definitely the design is custom. It's not like a normal settings app of iOS or something like that. So there's definitely like it's not fully just platform things, but that's not a problem with design. It can absolutely be like that. As for the colors, it's all black. The icon is black. It's got like a black view as well, and it has like is this dark mode though? I didn't test if there are 2 modes. How can I switch? Let me switch back. Okay, it's always black. I think I switched just dark mode to light mode. Cool, it's always black. That's also fine. But I can't adjust the colors or something like that. I can't change the app icons. Oh, we were on that. Sorry. The navigation is great. I think having this like the menu hidden at the bottom is not bad for this app, because it's so focused on you just start the app, you just do your push-ups, and then you can close it again, which makes it really, really simple to use. I think I really like that. The only issue I have is the colors at the bottom. It doesn't make like it still looks to me like these 2 buttons, they are disabled because there's just not enough color. It's just too grayed out. Maybe it needs to be more white. Then it would look nicer there. As for consistency, the app is definitely consistent. It's all black. It's using mostly gold for like celebrations and things like that. And I like the colors. I like the navigation, but it needs some more polish. So I would give 2 stars for now. And with some polishes there, I think it will be great. Then we have feedback. So being able to give feedback, give feature requests, or maybe there's even a user form. I think this is just app started out, and really the giving feedback via email, at least, I think that's definitely something you should add relatively soon, so users can actually request, and therefore I would give 1 star for now. But you can get to 2 stars easily, and then over time it can be 3 stars. Onboarding, store, guide, empty states, problem statement. So the problem statement on the App Store, I really like that. It was really clear what this is about, that it's about FaceTiming and share play, that it's also about push-ups and daily goals or something like that. I really liked the guide. It was really simple, really easy to use, and it really guided me at the beginning. It had an empty state. I think when I joined the app first time, it was clear, and I didn't see any screen which was just empty without me knowing like what to do. Except for like these 2 buttons, but we already talked about that. So I would give this part actually free, especially the store was really nice with the screenshots, with the one where you're like doing the push-up at the bottom, really making clear with the first image what this app is about. I think this is really great. Absolutely deserved 3 stars. Then we have privacy, absolutely 3 stars, no data collected at all, no analytics, nothing like that, at least right now, so that's great. Reliability, like, is it starting fast? As far as I could tell, like, starting the app is really fast. Even if I kill it and start again, it's right there. So really fast, and it was not crashing at all. I didn't see many bugs. We saw some small bugs, or at least I think there are bugs, which I mentioned before. But I think they're like nothing that I would subtract stars for. And offline, it perfectly works offline, so I would give 3 stars here as well. It's totally reliable at the moment. Simplicity, intuitive, focused, convenient, absolutely focused app, really, really great. It's really convenient to just open the app and then you can just do your push-ups right away. I think that's amazing. As for the intuitiveness, as I said, like just these buttons are not looking like buttons, but I think again, this is more design, and we'll just go for 3 stars here as well. System integration, widgets, shortcuts, content search. So content search, I don't see how you need to provide Siri a content search here. There's nothing to search. Shortcuts, as I said, like starting something or something like that could be added there, but I also don't see many used there. The widget thing could be added though, so maybe 1 star less for the widget integration missing. Otherwise, SharePlay, amazing, so definitely great idea to do that. I think one of the first apps that actually makes sense and make really great use of that. I've seen at least. Then we have value delivery. So the idea, having an app, I think part of the idea is also that social experience where you do this together with others. And let me ask you actually, so Andre, are you actually using the app regularly yourself? Let me know. Maybe you're using it together with Dan. Value delivery, attention to detail. I saw some animations that were really great, so definitely attention to detail. The concept is around SharePlay, which I really like, so I would just give this whole thing 3 stars as well. Really great done. Then this is the extra part for excitement, so interaction feedback that was always given, so button presses, I could see them always. The graphics, we had some celebration graphics, which is nice. Some small improvements are needed there. For example, the thumbs up emoji maybe is not the best. Sound effects, the blob I heard when I did that, I think it's nice, but maybe there can be more fun. So because this is like the extra category. It's about excitement. Just by that blob that I heard there, I wouldn't get excited. Maybe I would get excited if I heard someone like doing something like yeah, or something like, I don't know, just about more motivation. Maybe some like kind of mentor giving you motivation when you do some specific things or something like that. Then I would give it 3 stars, but I really like the animation, so I will at least give it 2 stars. And overall we have 23 points, which is I think great first app to start with this reviews. Actually, the most fun part that we use is the SharePlay functionality. I think Andre has a video of that. For SharePlay, I can at least show the preview. Absolutely, let me open that. Let's have a look at this. So we have SharePlay, kind of looks like this. Ah, you can see like live who's going, oh, that's nice. Oh, there's like a timer when you start. Is it like the pause timer? Didn't actually do that yet. But this is looking really nice. And gold is whoever has a premium subscription. What about the leading right now? Oh, can I somehow see who's leading right now? I think that's definitely something I would like to see when I use the app in the SharePlay mode. Who's currently leading? Maybe that's something you can add with an emoji or in some visual way. Is it like because this number is the largest? Okay, maybe that's that, but I didn't see that right away. Maybe you want to make it more obvious by just adding some, I don't know, maybe a line below it or something like that. But really great. So yeah, that's that. I agree, that would be nice. Yeah. Okay, so this is the review part of the stream. So thank you very much, Andre, for Dan, for joining the stream, for also requesting this and for taking part in this review thing. I hope this was kind of useful. I am going to share this whole document with you after the stream, or maybe also tomorrow. I will also work on the certificate image somehow and put these things into the certificate, so you have something nice you could share if you want it. I will definitely share it on Twitter if you're okay with that. And yeah, that's basically the review part from my side. Do you have any questions, anything left? Thank you so much. This was an amazing review. Thank you very much. I hope this is going to be useful. And everyone, just let me post this again. Let me actually fix, before I post it, let me actually fix the link, because I think the link was incorrect when I first posted. And it'll just take me a second. Let me just fix the link. And then I want everybody to check out the app. So everyone who watched this right now live or later also, definitely check out. Let me try again. So there we go. Review. Does the link work now? Yeah, I think it works now. So check out the app. You can download it. I think it's for free. It is for free. And also follow Andre on Twitter and make sure that you follow him and see how he's continuing the progress there. So for now, if you have feedback, also just I would say just DM him on Twitter, or just yeah, somehow reach out to him. Do you have a website? If you have a website, feel free to post a link to it as well in the chat here. I'll definitely have to watch the next stream. Great, that would be great. Yeah, my voice needs some little break here. Let me actually drink something. But that's the review part. So thank you for being here. Next up, we'll go back to our focus timer, and our focus timer focuses, let me close the QuickTime thing here. So the focus timer I'm developing here focuses on some specifics, and first it has a Pomodoro timer, and I'm also trying to get some categories into the focus timer, so I can always, when I work on something, define not only one category or something like that, but I can define as many dimensions as I want. So I have created something like a category group, which I can call project, for example, and then I can have a category group, which I call task type. Then I can work on the project focus timer, and the task type can be design or programming. And I can work on a different project, and this way I can later filter by both the project or the task type, and I can define them myself, so anyone else could define their own category groups. And we will have a look at the code in a minute. Then another key feature of this app is to also provide some kind of reflection after each time, and the reflection actually follows our session summaries. In our session summaries, and we can have a look at this, is sectioned into progress, like the progress I've made today, the problems and blockers I came across in the session, the learnings or ideas I had during the session, and also the next steps, so I remember next time when I pick up the same topic that I exactly know what to do next. And this is exactly also how we're dealing at the end of the stream, what we've done in the stream, so we know next time where to continue. And then we want to have some history, so we can look up and some statistics. That's like the whole scope of the open focus timer, and you can find it also. Let me write project here, so you can find the link to the to this Notion page and also to the GitHub project in the chat now. And we are going to continue, so let's have a look at what we did last time. So this was done in last stream last week on Wednesday. So we fixed building issues with body crouch and SwiftGen, which are for referencing assets in code, like localization assets or image assets, to make them safely referenced. Then we fixed an issue with color references that we had in the previous stream. We just had to include it via bundle.module, because you are using in our application the point freeze modularization. So I can just recommend that again. Let's go to point free. Point free is like a service with videos provided by these two guys, and they have some free videos as well. And one of the free videos is the modularization part 1. This is definitely something I can recommend. It's basically splitting a project into modules using Swift Package Manager. So question from Andre, oh, is this pure SwiftUI app, or are you combining the best of both worlds? It's a pure SwiftUI app. The goal is actually to make an app that works for iOS, iPadOS, and also Mac. And I think the easiest way to do that, if you're starting a new app, is using SwiftUI. And you can check out the open source project if you want to see the code, but we're going to be coding today as well. Extract logic and state from time view by applying the composable architecture. This is also from Point Free, and this is their app architecture. And I really like this app architecture because it makes basically the whole logic of your app unidirectional. So you can think of your state independent from the view, independent from other parts, like many other architectures do as well. But what I really like about this specific one is that it encapsulates side effects. And whenever you have side effects like network calls or timers that are run in the time or something like that, you basically get like an error or a really clear warning if you have a side effect that was not expected in some specific context. And this also makes it really great and strong to test the application. And I can show you the test if you're interested. So if you're interested, if you want to see the test there, just tell me. But that's definitely something I can recommend as well. Added ticking timer, that's what we did. And we used the timer library also from point 3 there. Add simple alert when timer is up. We did that. Localize all text in the app and improve SwiftGen configuration. And we added model entities to begin. We also began adding the model extensions so we can simply initialize new objects of a specific type for the database layer. Okay, the problem we had, the SwiftUI previews still can't show colors properly. So due to Swift package modularization, somehow the color references didn't work in the SwiftUI previews, but they worked when we ran the app. And the learnings we had is that it's possible to pass parameters to SwiftGen templates. SwiftGen is a tool to create like Swift references for resources, which is really great to have safer resources. If you want to know more, definitely check out the README of SwiftGen itself. And if you have multiple languages added to your project but no localized files in the app target, localization didn't work. So we had a problem. It didn't work because we said like our app is localized, but we didn't have any localized files in the app. And then somehow the app didn't localize, although we had localized package modules that we were referencing. So we had to add like a empty strings file and just localize that. So let's see what the next steps were we thought that we need to work on today. Continue writing the timer extension, convenience initializer. Okay, write extensions for all model layers. Connect the timer UI to the database, makes sense. We just have the UI now. Add a reflection screen, that's like the next feature. And connect the reflection screen. Okay, let's get started actually. And I think these two screenshots we don't need. I think we talked about them enough. Cool. So open focus timer, open the Finder, and with the modularization structure, we need to open this Xcode project file, although we're using Swift Package Manager. So this is our project, this is our data model, and let's actually switch back to this. So we have categories, category groups, rich text entry, and timer. A timer basically has a start and end. It can have a focus topic, duration, and pause count. Then we have a category which we want to be able to give a color on. So we have a hex code to represent the color. We also want to give an icon, and you're going to use SF symbols. And so we're just specifying the symbol name here and the name. And then we said we want to have categories, category groups. So we can create like a category group like project, a category group like task type, and then define categories in that. So we have a relationship also from the category group to the categories, which is a two-menu relationship. And then we also have this reflection screen where we want to provide a summary, progress, things like that. And for that, we need to provide some text, and each text entry that we will have, we wanted to do that as a list. So we don't want to have like just one blob of text. We wanted to have actually a list. So we used a rich text entry here, which is just a text, and we will probably just use Markdown or some other structure to give it some highlights and things like that. And then we needed to connect everything together. And I think I forgot something last time, which I recognized when I went here to this visual representation, which is that the category and the timer, they are not related in any way yet, which is really nice to see. If you're in this view, you don't see any error going from timer to these. So let's actually add that connection before we get to the other app. But before we do that, maybe for those who are here first time, let's just show what the app looks like right now. So let me run this on the iPhone simulator. So it's building. Let me actually remove my iPhone connection. Okay. App is starting. Okay, so this is very simple. We just have a button that brings us to the only screen we have right now. And this is the very simple screen so far that we have, which just has a timer set here, which we have put on 5 seconds for now for testing purposes, but we will put it to 25 minutes later. Now we have a start button, which starts the timer. Then the timer is going down. Very simple. If it's up, we just get an alert. Time is up. It's time to take a break, consider having a stretch and breathing some fresh air, something like that. and then it resets basically. That's all we have right now. And now we want to connect this to store actual data in the core data database. That's the first goal we have, and the second goal would be to have at the end, when the timer is up, to show some kind of reflection screen instead of just the OK. So right now we just have the alert. Instead, we want to have a full screen view that just has the different fields, like how did you progress, like these fields. And that's what we want to do today. But before that, let's get to our database. And at any time, if you have any question what I'm doing, you will also see my shortcuts that I'm doing. Always, like if I do this shortcut, you see it on the bottom left. So if you're interested in how I'm navigating around, you can also see that. And ask me anything. I'm open here. I'm streaming to answer questions basically. Okay, category and timer. Let's connect these two. So what we want to have is a timer belongs to at least one category, I would say. Can it? Yeah, it can have multiple categories, but it can only have one category per category group. How can we make this clear? So we could actually make it so that each timer has to have one category per category group. I'm not sure if we can model this in core data, but we can definitely model it in the Swift code then. But that means the connection needs to be from the timer to a category group. Well, let's add a connection there. So relationship, let's call it categories. And the destination is the type category, and it is definitely a too many relationship. Is it optional? I'm not sure how optional behaves for too many. I think it's not optional. How did we do it for others? Learnings? Yeah, it's not optional. Let's do it here as well. Not optional. And if we delete the timer, do we want to delete the categories? No. If we delete a category, do we want to delete the timer? Related timers? Let's say no. I think they should be independent from each other. So nullify makes sense. Otherwise, we go for cascade. Let's stick with that. Let's define an inverse relationship as well. So a category has multiple timers. This is also a too many relationship. And the type is timer. The inverse relationship is categories. And this is actually a too many as well. And it's nullify. Is it optional? No, we just have an empty array at the beginning. Okay, so we have added that connection now. And we can see it here. It's now connected. How can we make sure that the categories on the timer always are just one of each group? That's something we can do on the Swift code level, where we can just make sure that you can never save two categories of the same group into a timer somehow. But we'll figure that out later. I just wanted to add this missing link. But we have it now. Let's have a look at if it makes sense to already commit. I think so. Let's just commit this. Add missing link from timer mol to category. Yeah, I think nothing else needed there. And that's actually also one of the steps that we've done. So let's actually add this into a new summary document. Let's create one for today. So let's create it from the template here. And our focus today was the Pushoji review plus we'll see what we're going to work on, but it's definitely open focus timer part 2. This is the app project, and so far we have added missing link to the timer model. Next up, what we were doing at the last time is we started creating extensions to our core data types, so it's easier to save them. And let's have a look at the one for category again. So category is already created by core data because we have selected here in the core data model. We have selected category and said that code generation should actually create a class definition. We could have also done manual, and we would have to create it ourselves, but this saves us some code. So it's auto-generated by Xcode or by core data, and we just extend it with some convenience, and we made the color accessible by, or that's not implemented yet. So that's definitely something we need to implement. And what we want is currently in the model, in the category model, we have the color hex code as a string. But what we need in the code later is a SwiftUI color. So this is SwiftUI.color of type, and we want to have an actual color created from that hex code. We could continue with that actually. For the icon, we've done the same. So we have the system name, and we have already referenced the SF symbol name by using the library SF safe symbols, which made this also safe. And add group to the initializer. So we have a convenience initializer, which we create by just providing name, color, and icon, which are the SwiftUI type. So this is the SwiftUI type. SF symbol is the type from SF safe symbols, also for SwiftUI. And we can see that some part here is not implemented yet, which is the the hex code thing. So what we cannot do right now, and that's maybe something we can start with, is create a SwiftUI.color from a hex code and save a hex code from a SwiftUI color. Maybe that's an easy part to start with. So the question is, how can we do that? Can we actually, maybe the SwiftUI.color, let's just go for color. Let's imagine we have a color. Can we get the hex code somehow here? Does it have red, green? Okay, I'm not sure if this is possible. Let's see for the init methods. So we can create it from a UI color, and I know that UI color has a red, green, blue, but we can also provide it directly here. So we could go through this initializer, and we just need to read the hex code. But I'm sure that somebody has written that code already, so we can save a lot of time by just Googling that. Why is this not opening? Okay, so we want to have SwiftUI color hex. Let's just go for that. Use hex in SwiftUI. Oh, there's a hacking Swift article. Okay, this is relatively complicated, but maybe that's what we need. Using wrong initializer. We could copy that. Let's see. So how to convert a hex color to a UI color. Okay, this is going through UI color. Let's actually look for something else. Hex color and SwiftUI. Okay, so we're creating a color as RGB. This looks much nicer. I think this is something we could use. This is for creating a color. Can I also get the hex from an existing one? Oh, this is here. The second extension allows for building a color from a hex string covering most known formats. What about the first one? Ah, this is what the UI went. It's a lot of code. Maybe this is actually something more complicated than I thought. So conversion from hex to the required type seems to be a little bit more involved. Maybe it's actually useful to copy this from a more... So I'm sure there is a solution there. So SwiftUI, color, hex. Let's see if we can find a... Oh, that has a lot of stars. Color converter, hex, UI color hex. This looks nice. 1 star, okay. But it does create it from hex. Doesn't return it though. This works both ways. Yes, this works both ways. So maybe we can just copy it from here if it's MIT licensed. Looks good. Cool. Color converter. Probably not needed. Dynamic colors. 2,700 stars. That's a lot. Okay, this is a method for manipulating colors. Maybe not needed, but it has a hex color initializer, and it's probably correct. So let's have a look at the codes. This is also MIT licensed. Nice. Let's go for color. Search for hex. There we go. This is already hex string. Creates a color from the hex string like this. Exactly what we need. The RGBA string will also support it. like this, okay? If the given hex string is invalid, the initializer will create a black color. That's fine. And the code is kind of calling into things inside this. Yeah, hex opacity channel. This is the creation, okay. Let's actually copy that. Maybe we can actually use it as is. So this is a color extension. Where do we want to add it? Maybe we needed any in some other places in the app as well. So we have, for everyone who's new here also again, we have applied the modularization of that Point3 has presented. And I think also there is Swift by Majid, I think. What's his name? I always forget. Swift with Majid basically also currently explores micro apps architecture in Swift. So if you want to check that out, definitely do that as well. Let me actually share the link here. And he's basically going into the same direction, into splitting your app into really small modules using Swift PM. I'm not sure if he uses the exact same approach, but this is how it works for Point3's approach. And basically what I have here, this is my app. And you can see that my entry point in the app is very, very small, very, very simple. I just have the persistence controller created here so I can pass it down. So it has like the right container and things. And otherwise, this is not doing anything else. It's just creating a content view, and the content view itself is actually extracted into app entry point here. And app entry point is something that is already a package, and you can see the Swift package is all mentioned here. Looks kind of ugly if you're not used to it, but you get used to it quickly. And the library app entry point is the one that basically is the actual view that gets shown, and that's how I named it. Then I can basically put everything else into different modules, the resources, for example, which contain the colors, the images, the Swift generated stuff like the color referencing and the strings as well, and also the localizable string files, which don't look nice yet, unfortunately, in Xcode. Like normally you have the same structure, but Xcode just shows one entry here and you just open it, but this is the other way around. Anyways, still works. And this is the resources. Then we have the timer feature, which is actually the feature, the screen that we've seen before. And this is using the composable architecture approach. So we have a reducer, which contains all the logic for how to handle actions that happen in the environment, either by the user or by the timer, scheduling or something like that. So we switch over the action that happens, and it can be start button press, stop button press, etc. And then we act on that. Sometimes we create an effect, which is what I meant. You really have to watch the videos from composable architecture to understand this, but basically it makes it controllable in the tests. We can now control the time in the tests. And this is the store, so this is the state of the view and the actions that are possible on that view. And it's just containing a timer is running, time left, show time is up alert. And this is our view. And I'm not sure if the preview will work, but let's try. So let's open the timer feature scheme. Build failed. Happens sometimes, although it actually works. And yeah, the preview is not working right now. Sometimes it's not working, but I'm not going to meddle with that now. And this is the test that I was praising before. So this is our timer feature tests. And you can see I'm creating a test scheduler so I can control time. And then what I basically do is I test the typical timer lifetime. And you can basically have a look at what I'm sending, because I'm creating a test store to simulate a view with its state. And then basically I send start button pressed to simulate a user has pressed the start button, stop button pressed, start button pressed. Then I advance the time by 1 second. That's how I'm controlling time. And then I'm advancing it again, and this time by 24 minutes and 59 seconds. And then I'm advancing it by 1 second again. What else? Then I set the time alert as presented. So why am I sending this? Yes, I'm sending this because then we show the alert when the timer is up, and then user clicks OK, and that causes via SwiftUI that this is called. So I have to cause it in the test here. And then everything else that you see here, which is the receives, is what I expect to happen in that context. So you can see that I expect at the beginning, when I click start button pressed, when I send this as an action, I basically expect that the state timer is running is now true, which was false before. Anybody else having chat disconnecting issues? Yeah, that would be good to know. So is anybody else having chat disconnecting issues? If yes, please write in the chat. So this is basically how you write a test in the TCA architecture. You just send the action, and the really great thing is this is not a UI test, this is just a unit test. But it's still, you can still do things with animations, with time, with networking and things like that. And when I click the stop button, I expect to the expected state timer is running to be set to false again. And like that, you can basically specify the entire thing that is happening. For example, when I advance the time by 24 minutes and 59 seconds, and this is just the code to make the timer, yeah, basically here I'm saying that I expect each second that the timer ticked action is sent. I wrote a couple of comments, but I don't think it was shown. Yeah, I didn't see the comments, so maybe you want to rewrite them again. So whatever you wrote there, feel free to write it again, I'll try to answer. So when this time passes, I expect while this is passing that the timer ticked action is sent every second. And then I advance it by 1 more second because just 1 second was left. Then I expect to receive the timer as ticked. Then the stop timer was requested because we want to stop the timer, which then causes the state to change, which then causes the timer is up action to be sent, which then causes the alert to be shown, which then causes the state also to change. So you can basically describe the state changes. And this basically tests your entire lifecycle, your entire logic. This is really the strong part. Okay, but let's get back to continuation. I kind of stuck here with the explanation because so many new viewers today. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. So not subscribe, follow me in case you're not following, you just joined in, because it really helps me out to get more viewers here on Twitch. So just make sure you follow in case you don't. But let's get to the hex problem again. So I think we copied some code, and let's go and create. I would just create it in the model right now. Color extension. Oops, that's the wrong link. Let's go back to the code that we wanted to copy. And let's add the original source. Let's go for adapted from. Let's just add the link. Does anyone of you know if I have to keep this in the code? If I use the code and then basically make my adjustments, do I still keep this, or is it enough to just link back where you can see this? I'm not really sure, but I don't like to keep these kinds of things really in my code bases. But I am allowed to change. As far as I know, I don't need to keep it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I don't need the availability checks because I have version 15. No marker comment for me, and I prefer the other comment style, but I'll work on that later. So this creates with the hex string, trimming characters using the scanner, character set. Yeah, nothing that could break or something. Then we have this, it's also documented, creates from an hex. This is like not from a hex string. I don't think we need this. Where is it calling it? Yeah, it's calling it inside here. If hex string count is above 7. Interesting. Looks fine to me. I'll just keep it and we just see if this works. Then we need to also do the back porting. So when we have a SwiftUI color, we want to also get from that color the hex string representation. And the question is where this is implemented. Let's just go for, oops. Okay, it was documented here somewhere. They are calling 2 hex. If it's like you can also retrieve more easily. 2 hex string, that's what we need. And it's implemented in dynamic color. So I still don't see your comments, EasyFib, in case you want to rewrite them. 2 hex, 2 RGBA components. But 2 RGBA components, is that a method on SwiftUI color? Let's actually try that out. So we can now actually init this, so this should work. Now we have the new hex string available. I'm just going to call that with the hex string that is part of the category. So it's self.color hex code. And this should actually work. Let's see if it builds. Oh, I'm on the wrong scheme. We want to switch to the model scheme. Let's try building again. Audio type string must be unwrapped. Okay, so we have in core data, we have specified that category as a field name color hex code, and we have not specified it as an optional, but it's always an optional in core data, because you can always create or initialize a core data object and then specify the values afterwards. But we're going to assume here that you have already stored the model into your core data database, and in that case, always the object is basically always having the a value, because we were not allowing to be optional. So this is not a we can just force unwrap here. We could also make this code a little more safe, but we'll go over time and see if that's really needed. Okay, and that works. So maybe we can delete this part here. Also, let me change the comment style. Let's add one indentation. Okay, let's not mail it too long. Okay, cool. And this is not right parameter. I think this is not correct. Oh, we need documentation comments, of course. And there we go. Now when we alt press it, we see parameters and things like that. Okay, we have an error here. Not building it. Oh, it was calling into the other one. I forgot about that. Let's revert that. Copy this and apply everything again and copy this back in. And because we have multiple parameters, I prefer the, let's indent this. I prefer the parameter style. Parameters. Now we can do something like this. Cool. Now this should work as well. We see the parameters, nice. Okay, we have this extension. Next we need the other way around. So we want to get the hex code from a SwiftUI color. And then there might be a different place to get that. This has a hex string implemented. Let's also have a look at this project. It's also MIT. Color. Create with hex, but this is an integer. Okay, that's not what we want. So this can return the integer for a string. Normalized hex string. Uppercase, replacing occurrences, regular expression, prefix 6. Okay. There's simple. Was there even string or hex string on the color? Implemented here. Hex encodable. Hex codable. Interesting. Hex codable, interesting name. Is having a hex string here. And this is a protocol. I see, so you're creating a from the hex. So we have a string extension which can create a hex. That's kind of complicated, but we'll figure it out. So there's a string extension which can create from a number hex. Okay. String radix normalized hex string, and this is calling into this. Let's see if there is a more clean solution. So what we want to do is convert get hex string from SwiftUI color. Hex string from a UI color. We could use, we can convert a color to a SwiftUI color to a UI color. So we could do that and then go from there, but let's see if we can find a direct one. GitHub color extensions, SwiftUI color extensions. I think any color extension will have hex on it. Let's have a look at some. So this generates a color from a hex string. Looks also very similar to the other code. This has no hex code. No hex. SwiftUI color hex. This is getting stressful. I expected to find something much faster. So we go for color, create with hex. Nope. Just also the other way around. Why is this a UI integer? There we go. Okay, it's going into UI color. So it has UI color extension. I'm willing to go for that as well. UI color to hex string. I'm sure there's something we can find on that. Swift5 hex string from color. Let's go for this then. I'm going to create it as a color extension though, so we want to have like a variable that gives us the hex string. And we're going to reuse this code, which creates a UI color. So we get the CG color, that's what we need. We can say self.UI color, we can't. Oh, we have access to a CG color here directly. So we can just go for self.cg color here. Let's re-indent this. And red, let's make it a little more readable. Green, blue, then the hex string created with this format. Some low-level functions there. Red, green, blue times 25. Looks okay. I don't want to print it. So we're just returning that string. We can also just return here. And I believe that should work. Tab must be unwrapped to refer. So when can the CG color be nil? That's a good question. Let's have a look. SwiftUI color. CG color. You can get a CG color instance from a constant SwiftUI color. This includes colors you create from a core graphics color, from RGB or HSP components, or from constant UIKit and AppKit colors. So if you create them via RGB or HSP, then it's available. For dynamic color, like one you load from an asset catalog using init bundle, or one you create from a dynamic UIKit or app color, this property is nil. So in this case, because we are here and having the hex color, it should not be a problem because we're always loading the color from the database and we're storing it into database. But when we make them available, okay, it could actually be that this initializer works, and if it is created, so will we ever create it and then call into hex string? So we could create it in the asset catalog and then show it to the user, and the user selects it, and then we want to save it. So it can actually happen that CG color is nil. That's not great. Is there another way? So this is going to be nil in most situations. Okay. Oh, Dragon Das, welcome to the stream and thank you for following. How are you doing? Hi. Hi back from me. How are you doing? What are you doing? Are you doing something while watching me? Or are you mainly watching me? Feel free to explain me the context so I can better understand who's watching me and adapt to that. Okay, still we're back. We're still trying to find a hex color string for a SwiftUI color, and I'm struggling to find a good solution here. And I think I will go for the first I find actually. So this is an extension on color created by hex string. Maybe we can reverse engineer this and turn it around. So what we're doing here is we're getting the RGBs, we're initializing with RGB and opacity. Can we do it the other way? Good, thanks. How are you? Nice to see fellow iOS developer. So you're an iOS developer as well. That's great to hear. What are you working on right now? Are you like working in a company? Are you an indie iOS developer? Do you have hobby projects? How is that? And feel free to ask me anything about iOS development as well. Do you know how I can find a good way to get a hex string from a SwiftUI color? If you know, please share. But I will find it. So now I will do a really good search on GitHub. So we're searching on Google, saying site.github. We want to have something with SwiftUI color and hex string. And the hex string part is a really important one for me. So we have hex string here, two hex string. Here we have an implementation. How is it done? This looks, but this is on UI color. It's using RGB, the getRed method. Do we have that on SwiftUI? Okay, so we need to make sure that SwiftUI is also mentioned, otherwise we get things like this. So we're back to this. And it does have the Hex string method, does it? UI color, UI color, UI color. How's the SwiftUI? Let's go back to the Hex one here. I do iOS development as my main job and my own app projects in the site. Nice. So are you able to work with SwiftUI already in your main job? And what kind of side projects do you have? So we do have the hex string here, so I think I will just go for this solution here, however complicated it might look like. So what they were doing, working my new app at the moment, hope to release it in a few weeks. That's nice. Actually, I don't know if how you found this stream, but what I'm doing at the beginning of the stream, and today it took a little longer than I planned, but I will probably get used to it. What I plan to do at the beginning of the stream is always review one app that is from an indie developer or that is a side project or something like that. So once your app is ready, feel free to ping me either here on Twitch or just through Twitter. I have the same name on Twitter. Just ping me and I will try to review your app and give you some feedback and things like that. Yes, I switched to SwiftUI some time ago. That's nice. It's great if you can switch to SwiftUI also on your main project at the work, because not everyone can do that still today. Okay, so we had a working solution here, which was working using this method, this normalized text string one. Which creates a string through the integer. Can also return that again. Nice, thanks, I will do. Yeah, definitely do that. And you can also rewatch this this stream and just watch the beginning if you want to see how I was doing this. Cool. So we're just going to copy this text now, this code, and this one doesn't work. So they were using a string extension. Maybe I can put it out of the string extension. Let me reformat this. So basically, this is the logic in the string itself based on the oh wait, how was this implemented? So this is creating a normalized hex string from okay, so this is the whole logic. So what we have, let me add this back. So we want to have a var like here at the top. We don't need it to be private, and we want to call it hex string. And what we're missing here is, of course, we have to call now uppercase. So we have here, when we call it here, when they call it here, they just create a string with the initializer that gets the hex and the radix 16, which I'm confused. Is that an initializer on string? String init? Is there something already? Yeah, there is. Creates a string representing a given value in base 10 or some other specified base. Oh, that's nice. That's why it's so easy. Do you use SwiftUI? Yes, absolutely. This project actually is written in SwiftUI too, so you can see here. Have a timer view and things like that. All written in SwiftUI. Okay, so let's go this way as well. So they were doing this here. And this is the string, and we just pass it the hex and as an integer. And how did they get the hex as an integer? Hex is int. So they basically do this. Scanner string, normalized hex string. How often are they calling into this? This is kind of so they're calling hex here. From hex they're calling normalized hex string, and then additionally they are calling normalized hex string again. Scan hex int64, scanner normalized hex string. This gives us the hex. So let's get back. We want to create a hex string here. And that's possible if we have the hex integer. And to get the hex integer, we need to get this. This is still confusing me. Color white. Easy SwiftUI sounds like a good name. It's here. Hex, oops, hex string. It's within hex string, but can I convert it? Oops. Can I convert it back? No, there's no code for that. We're stuck with this one solution because we don't have access to CG color. It can be nil. We can get the... They're also using CG color. That's not going to work. It's a bummer. Let's stick with this here. So SwiftUI color hex code. I'm not a robot. What do you think I am? Hex color and SwiftUI hex codes. What do you want to do? I have a... Okay, let me show you. Basically, I have in my core data this. I want to store the hex code of a color that I let the user pick in a SwiftUI view, and then I want to also be able to basically not only initialize a color from SwiftUI with a hex code, but also the other way around. I want to get from a color a hex code string, and currently I can get a color when I have the hex code, but the other way, that's basically what I'm missing right now. I want to convert a SwiftUI color into a hex code representation so I can recreate it later. And the problem is there is a CG color on SwiftUI. I just read this up, but this is an optional, and it basically states if we're creating the color from an asset catalog, for example, then it will be nil. And most people are using this method, and they're probably going to have, or I'm going to at least run into problems with the color unparsing at some point, and that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. And I'm not that actually, it should be easy enough, but I thought there must be a solution so I don't have to think and I don't have to have bugs in my code. And I only find it the other way around, where you create a color from a hex representation, but not the other way around. Hex codes RGB values on SwiftUI colors. So they say you can create a color by just initializing okay, is that really possible? Can I just say when I'm on a color, let's actually remove this, I'll just comment this out. So I am on a color to type, and I just want to create a UI color with the SwiftUI color. That works. Okay, then it's easy. Didn't expect it to be working that way. So then we can just use any extension on SwiftUI, and we have one here. Hex RGBA, Hex RGBA. Which one do we want actually? Just RGB or RGBA? Do we need the alpha for users? I don't think so. We just provide the color without an alpha, and then we can still use alpha if we need to. So we're just going with this one. And that's easy enough. I think we need both here. So we have reading RGBA from a UI color, So this is our UI color, and we're reading red, green, blue. Alpha we don't really need. Is there get red UI color? Get red without the alpha? Nope. Let's clean this up down here as well. Or let RGBA. We did it already down here. Maybe we should use the same. Let's actually go for the same naming here. Green, blue, opacity. I don't really care about alignment. And I see that they have the same names, so that's why they used R here. This is actually the int version. Is it? It's the... let's just keep the code. This is not needed. White color, creating RGBA. Let's just search for UI color 2 hex string. Not this one. Hex string from color. So we're copying from the same place. And we can get rid of all this code. So we have the UI color from self, and that has a CG color that always is there. Very interesting. Then we can get the components and everything works as expected. So we have all this. I think we had this code before. Looks pretty much like it. No need for the print, and we can actually return this directly. Okay. Nice. This builds hex string. Let's document it. Returns the hex representation of the color object. Note that this goes through the UI color, but that's implementation detail. We could change that later in case this doesn't work. Okay, this is building now, and I actually want to test that this also works. So let's write a test for the color extension. Let's go to, this is not a timer feature test, this is a model test. Let's create a new folder, and actually we don't have a package for it yet. So we have to create model tests. Let's create the first test. Let's actually create a subfolder, so we have the same folder structure. Say it's extensions. And now let's create a color ext tests. And we're going to test this. Let's import exe test. Testable import model. Well, let's specify the target first. So we have the model target here. Let's create a new test target. Oops. So many things to fill out, but we don't need them all. So this is model tests. Dependencies, obviously model. Everything else we don't need to specify. The defaults are fine. And a comma missing here. This should actually compile. And this should actually find the tests. Now let's write the test. Class. This is the color extension tests, exe test case. And we want to write a function for, I basically want to convert it from I want to create a color from a hex string and back into color. And this should be basically the same. So func tests init from hex back to hex. And let's write a hex code here. Hex string. Let's go for, let's actually start simple. This is just all white. Let's say white color hex string. And we want to create with our new initializer via the hex string, which is a white color hex string, and we want to revert it back. And we can actually assert this directly. So assert equal let's save that. So that's the white color. Now let's remove the init. This was just for auto completion. And now, oops, a typo. And now we want to say that's the that the white color hex string should be the same as when we call into white color and get a hex string. This should pass. Let's run a test. Model tests. There we go. Test is building. Building failed. Cannot find UI. Obviously we have to import UIKit. Let's build. There we go. UIKit is not available when building for macOS. Consider using. Oh, is this a pure macOS app? No, it's not. So we have to write zeros black. Yeah, true. Zeros black. FFF is white. I'll correct that in a minute. Thank you for that. I always mix them up. Okay, but first let's fix this. So let's actually run the code with the iOS. We will add macOS support in a minute. So let's build this. Just let's get it working first. Cannot find color and scope. Import SwiftUI. No, still not building. Double seconds extension. Reference from model timer duration getter. Not found for architecture ARM64. That's interesting. So double dot seconds from Handy Swift. Are we missing Handy Swift as a dependency maybe? Model? Yeah, it's not having the dependency to Handy Swift. Let's add it. So we had the dependency here. Let's make it explicit. Products. Handy Swift. Handy Swift. No condition needed. And we need the same, it looks like here too. Let's try building again. Build succeeded. Test succeeded as well. So it is working for this color, and obviously let's just call this FF. Let's also try the lowercase, lowercase version. So I'll just go for that and say white color hex lowercase. And actually the comparison maybe needs to be normalized, so let's lowercase both to make sure it's always lowercase when comparing, because we don't know how it will return it, but maybe it's also part of the specification how it's returned. Let's make that. So what is better, uppercase or lowercase? I think uppercase is the more common, although lowercase is used a lot on the web. I don't know. I don't really care. Maybe we just go for whatever we get returned. So let's just run these and just see what happens if this passes. Oh, redeclaration. Just go for a var here. Select constant. No, it's wrong var. Okay, this is passing. So white color dot hex string is this, yeah, we okay, this worked. So it's always uppercasing when it returns, and if we lowercase and use that as an input, it still works. That's nice. Let's go for other colors. Let's go for... Okay, this is very boring as well. This is black color though. Not black color. Black color hex string. Black color. And black color hex string. I think this will work, and then let's just go for blue color hex string. Let's just go for a mixed color. Let's just look up some color online. Let's close these tabs. So many of them. Color hex. Let's just pick a random color. Let's just use, what is this called? Doesn't have a name. I would test the real color.white and check if the string returns FFF. That's a good point. So let's test. Let's just go for exit assert directly. Say color.white. Now let's go for the expectation first. Then color.white.hexstring. Expect this to work, and likewise for some other colors as well. Like for black, for red, for green, or blue. I think they are easy to create. So black would be 0. So very good point. Thank you, Dragon Dust. Or if I think this way. G should be these two. If it's wrong, we'll see. But this makes sense. Let's actually run this already before we go to the blue ones here. Okay, it's not working. Maybe that's because the red is not fully red, but it is a reddish color. This is definitely a reddish color. But that's also learning here. So we see that the color red that we call, if we call into color.red, it doesn't provide an entirely red color, or our code is not right. So let's see actually if it might be our code that is wrong. It could also be due to sRGB or something. Okay, let's Google for that. SwiftUI color.red not fully red. Is there something like that? How can I change color? It is the system color. Is it the system color? Isn't there like system red? System red. Oh, that's the UI color thing. Oh, I see. So it is. Okay. Then we have to look up what they are supposed to be. So SwiftUI system color red, but it might also change with every release, right? So maybe it's not the best thing to do as a comparison. Or is it documented somewhere? Specify components. Okay, let's stick with white and black, which is working, which is great. Maybe also let's go for clear. Which is, I don't know if they use black or white for this. Let's just try out. But we don't have an alpha that we can specify here. Yeah, this is not really useful. Let's not go for clear. We have black and white, it's working. Maybe we could make sure that when we call into a like color.red, that the red part is the highest. I think that makes sense. But then we have to calculate things. I think white and black work. That's already a good sign that the system colors is somehow working. Let's go for the true blue one here. So blue color hex string is RGB, so it's 0000FF. Let's go for the others as well. Let's go in the right direction. So RGB, R would be FF. Cool, and now we say let's maybe put them all at the top so we can save some variable creation. So we have the white color created here the first time. Maybe we just do these at the top. And this could actually be its own function. So func test init with init from hex, something like that. Oh, this is the other way. Test hex string. This is what it's called. This is what we're testing here. Cool. These colors, white, red, green, blue. We create a color from this, and then we assert back. Create from the lowercase variants. Black color hex string. Let's move it up as well. And then we create a black color. We can just call this color. To simplify the code a little bit. And for the black one, let's not use lowercase. We test this here. And now we can just copy them. And now we have black color here. Let's go for red color next. For green color, oops. Green color next. And blue color last. We could actually write a for loop here, I think. It makes sense, yeah, let's actually write a for loop. Do you stream regularly? I stream twice a week. So I stream on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central European time, and on Fridays 2 p.m. Central European time. On the Wednesday stream, I work on this project right now, which is the open focus timer in general long term. On a Wednesday stream, I always plan to work on an application. So over time, I have multiple apps that I have fully developed in the open from start to finish. And the idea is that mostly like starting developers can watch full on how apps are created and all the steps in between. And also, of course, like also people, for example, who are not actually developers yet, but for example, students or school, a pupil and things like that who want to decide what they want to do later, they can also just have a look and see like what kind of work I'm doing here. Even though they might not understand what I'm doing really, they understand like I'm working with code, how much working I'm with code, how much I'm thinking about things, how much I'm testing out, things like that. So that's the idea. And I'm streaming twice a week. Central European time. Where are you from? I'm from Germany. So I'm streaming from Germany. Cool. Yeah, let me create a for loop here and let's put these into an array. So let color hex strings. And let's just put them all in here. And maybe we don't even need to give them a name. Okay, I'm going to use multi-cursor feature here. So if you don't know, you can hold down the option button and just do this. Well, alternatively, you can also just mark some text here, and you can go for Option Command E to mark the next occurrences, and you have multiple cursors, which is nice because I want to edit these like this. I really am also from Germany. Great. Where are you from? Exactly, I'm from Karlsruhe. So let's add a comma here, and you can see I've already created the array. There we go, color hex string. For hex string in color hex strings. We need multiple of them. Dann können wir ja Deutsch schreiben. Yes, of course. You can also write in German if you want to. If that's easier for you, for sure. I have to definitely answer in English as well, but I will also answer in German if that helps you. Or if you don't mind, if you don't care, I will just answer in English. I work in... You also work in Karlsruhe, nice. I don't want to really ask where you work, but if you want to share, feel free to do that. I used to work here as well. I live near Mannheim. Yeah, that's not far. Cool. Great, so maybe we can meet up at some point. You never know. Color hex strings. So this is the hex string, and now we can just copy one of these and just replace this and this with that. And this should work, and we don't need to var color. We can just make it let. And this should simplify code. And now let's run the test again. Let's see if it all passes. All passing. So the conversion works. Great, so we have this now, and now we can use here where we have or we have access to the color. Let me drink something. How do you like Mannheim, by the way? You like living there? Did you just move there because you went there for university? How come? Or did you grow up there? Color hex code. Yeah, we have now access to a color, which is the color passed into this. And now we can call hex string. Also, I think we have inside of here this other method, which I want to make private because this is just needed for this here. And I don't want to call into it directly. I work at Arkansas. I stream from work on Fridays in the afternoon. So you stream from work? You stream too? That's great. Let me actually check this out. So wow, nice. 51 followers. Do you also stream iOS? Do you also stream iOS development? Because I'm looking for people to raid. Okay, I will check this out later, for sure. You're also streaming on your private account. What is a private account? Is that like just giving access to some people? How does that work? Is it also on Twitch? Never used that. So color, oh, or do you mean you're streaming something entirely else? So you have a streaming account for your work, an extra one? How does that work? So color a hex string, that should work. And group to the initializer. What is group? Add group to the initializer. Category. Ah, the group of the category, yeah. But the color works now, and we have also the hex string now. Yes, but I need to start again. Personal account. Didn't quite get that, but the one you are using right now, the Twitch account, I will check that out after the stream. And if you're streaming live while when I'm ending the stream, I might also raid you, so be prepared for that. Self name, icon symbol name. Arkansas is here on Twitch. Oh, I see. So Arkansas is also streaming. It's a different one. I'll check that all out after the stream. Let's get some stuff complete here. Okay, this is working, this is working. We were here, and now it says add group to the initializer. So we want to be able to create a category, and it has to belong to a group. So whenever we create a category, we already have to have a group. So let's create the extension for the category group next. So extension, category group. And first let's write an initializer. And to see what we need in there, let's go to the category group. What do we have? We just have a name. And the categories is a relationship. So we'll just add a name here. Self.name equals name. Simple as that. It says designate initializer. Yeah, this needs to be a convenience initializer. And it needs to be called inside, I think. Self.init. And this should work now. Oh, I have to pass switch this game to model. Now it should be building. Oh, and we had something with the macOS. Yeah, so the target. So let's fix that now as well. So we are importing UIKit, and we can import AppKit basically when we're using Mac. So let's just go for if OS macOS iOS. Oh, I have to Google that each time. If OS Swift. Exactly what we need. Oh my god, is that mythical new brand? I think we can just go for if else. So if iOS or watchOS. Let's actually go the other way around. Let's go much simpler code, and then we can just say import AppKit here, import UIKit here. and it will complete condition else, not else if. Okay, now it's referencing UI color, which is wrong if we have this. So we reference let, how do we call it? UI kit, app kit. Is there something they have in common? Old color type. What's common on app kit and UI kit? How can we name a color properly? I don't want to name UI color. I don't know another name. Old color. Kit color, kit type color. I don't know. And then we can basically say, let's copy that code here. And in this case, it's a, actually, I think we can not iOS version, Arcade Soft. Welcome to the stream, Arcade Soft. So you're trying to find out the iOS version of what? Of the target of this app? What you want to know? Okay, I'm just going to go like this. And then we have kit type color, UI color, or NS color. I hope NS color has the same features. Otherwise we have to re-implement. And then let's go to kit type color. Does it build? It builds. Does it build also when we build for iOS? Does your personal iOS version? Let me look that up. So on my phone, I have currently installed, actually not the latest, I have iOS 15.2.1. It's better be new, yeah, 15.2.1, the 15.3, I just saw that it's available. I might actually update right now during the stream. Oh, okay, it's good. Great to hear that. But it seems there is a 15.3 already out. Probably out today or yesterday or something. Okay, kit type color. So this is building for iPhone as well. Nice. We have fixed that. So we can continue with our category group. And we can create that now. What we want to do next is this is actually extensions for the model. This is like the extensions for core data. And what is this file? Oh, that doesn't have a name. Category group next. And what? Do you have a question? No, nada about iOS dev. You don't know anything about iOS development. So welcome to the stream anyways. Are you any like what is your background? Are you a developer in anything? Is this Swift? Yes, this is Swift. This is Swift and SwiftUI. SwiftUI is when you see something that has this type, view, or just look at the file name. Yes, there's absolutely a difference. So SwiftUI is a framework for creating UIs, whereas Swift is the language which you can do anything with. For example, creating UIs, but you can also write code, for example, that is on the model layer, which is what I'm doing here. I am importing SwiftUI here, but just because in SwiftUI there's a type called color, and I'm just creating a color to be used later in views. But this is mostly Swift. In this case, there is no import of SwiftUI, but this is still Swift. So here's a category group that we're initializing, and I think this is the basic initializer, and there is nothing we need to convert here, so that's already done. And then we had the warning here that is basically reminding us that we want to add a group to the initializer, so we can specify the group a category belongs to. And let's just add the group here, category group. And we can just say self.group. Is it just one group? Wait, it should actually be a too many relationship. 2, 1. Oh yeah, category belongs to exactly one group. That's correct. And this is the group. Now we have the initializer with the group. Next up, we have a rich text entry. Let's create that next because it's also easy. It just gets a text. So Rich text entry extension. Ah, thanks. So do you have any backgrounds, ArcadeSoft, in development? I mean, your name is ArcadeSoft, so I'm guessing somehow it's related to gaming, maybe? Maybe you're writing software, games? Could that be true? If yes, which framework, which technology are you using? So let's create an initializer here, and the only parameter, if I remember correctly, is just the text. Yeah, it's just the text. So let's just say text is of type string, and then self.text equals text. Just a simple initializer, and again, it needs to be convenience initializer. And there we go. Last but not least, timer, and this is the biggest one. Have we already created this? We have created the timer extension, but we have not implemented the init method yet. So let's do that. So what does the init method take? Started at, ended at, and we know that started at is not optional, whereas ended at is optional. Started at is a date, and ended at is a date optional. No, only hobby. Hobby as per playing games or writing games as well, like developing games. Started at, ended at. We have a focus topic here, and it's not optional, so let's add that as well. And let's put the non-optionals up front. So focus topic, which is the topic of each timer session that we're running here. Writing. Nice. So which technology are you using for writing apps? Are you using Unity, or is there any other technology you're using? I actually never developed games, but I would be interested in learning that at some point as well. Not this year probably, but it's definitely interesting, and it's a whole kind of other experience than developing apps. So duration in seconds is also not optional, and this is something that we want to convert into a proper duration type. So let's go and add that first, duration in seconds. And actually I want to, when I implement this, just provide a duration in the proper duration type. And we already have created a duration computed property, so it's easier to access. And let's also initialize one with that. And the duration is actually not optional. Basically currently HTML5 canvas. Oh, so you're writing a game that's like more on the browser? Is it like not much graphics in there? Is it like a more like Wordle kind of game where you just have simple UI and it's more the idea of the game that's great? Makes me interested. We have pause count as well, which is also not optional. Pause count is an integer and not optional. It's actually an integer 16 and the other one is integer 32. I think we will convert that. Probably not. Or actually we could, yeah, let's just accept a normal integer. Yes, well, it's a platformer 2D just for fun and experimenting. Cool. Nice then, good luck with it. I hope it will turn out fine. Pause count, let's implement it. Self.started at is just a started at date. Self.focus topic, also just a simple string. Duration, we don't have duration here, so we set the duration in seconds. And we get the duration from the parameter and we just call in seconds, or just seconds. Yeah, this is the double of that in second. But do we actually have, so this is integer 32. So we need to convert this into an int 32. It should work fine. And we have the ended at, which is also just the ended at, and the pause count, which is an integer in this case, so we need to convert it into an int 16. Which shouldn't be an issue, but I'm still concerned if we should maybe specify just to make sure it's not. Oh, self-init is not working, so we need to make this first. Call into the initializer. Do we have everything that we need? We also have all these things, so learnings, next steps, problems. So the thing is, when we create the timer the first time, we just click the start button. Yeah, we will store it there. So we only have a start date. A focus topic we will ask when you start a timer. The duration will be 0. So actually, let's make that the default. Let's just make it 0. Ended at is nil when we create one, and the pauses count is also 0 at the beginning. Let's actually put these together. Okay. So just for consistency, I'd like to have the pause count here also. There. Cool, so we can create timers now. And when we create them, do we also need learnings? No, we can specify them at the end. Next steps, problems, and progress points. The same for these. This is the reflection that we're going to create. This is a reflection feature where we reflect on the last session, what went well, what didn't went well. But the categories, I think it makes sense to specify the categories when you start a time tracking. So let's actually specify that also. Focus topic, actually maybe as the first one, categories. And this could be an array. Categories. Category is the type, and then we just specify self.categories, and this is a set, so it doesn't have an order for the array here. You could just create a set here. You could also change it later where we create the set, but this should work. Oh, this needs to be an NS set. Interesting. Okay, and a set init. What initialize do we have? We can create it from a set or from an array. Let's create it from an array. There we go. Something's wrong here. Yes, this is missing the init call. Now it's building, and we have the initializer for the timer. Do we need any further computer properties here? And that makes sense. I think this is fine. Cool, we have all 4 of them, and the relationships, we can work on the relationships later. But I want to extract this color extension, which is an extension, but it's not an extension on the model layer. It's more like a global kind of extension, or a SwiftUI extension. So I want to group this out somehow. So I have model extensions. This is like a helper extension. Let's call it helpers. And let's move it in there. Okay, these are more models, and this is just a SwiftUI kind of helper extension. This should work fine. Let's just remove this. Cool, this is building. The related test is passing. And maybe we want to write a test where we just create some of them. But I don't see the point of it. I think everything will pass. There's no real logic there that could fail. Let's just review the code and make a commit. Looking good. This is also good. Nice. So we have add extensions or convenience. Yeah, extensions with convenience initializers and computed properties. Maybe too long. Add model extensions, convenience inits, and computer props. And when we said that we want to commit, our again Swift format ran because of the pre-commit hook that we have set up. And this is basically styling our code. And you can see, as always, the init methods, they are always broken into multiple lines, the parameters of them. And it's also removing this alignment code. That's also not something I like, so that's fine that it's correcting them. And it has a specific rule for the if statements. That's also looking good. And it has added a trading comment here. That's all fine. Let's amend it to our previous commit before we push, and then we can push. And I think it's a good time before we continue to take a small break to just stretch a little bit, because I'm sitting here since 3 hours nearly already. And I'll be back shortly, but let's write down what we just did. Which was this commit here. So this is basically what we have done, and we actually had a problem, which was SwiftUI dot color type was getting the hex string representation from a SwiftUI color type was hard used UI color or NS color instead. So maybe it's not even possible, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we are getting the RGB values from that. So that's like that was like kind of the issue, and basically the learning was this here. Use UI color instead to get RGB values from color. Cool. So next up, let's get back to our next steps from last time, from our last stream. So we said continue with the timer extension. That's what we just continued. Write extension for all model layer types plus convenience initialize. What we just did. Connect the timer UI to the database and store the data. This is what's missing right now. Add a reflection screen and connect the reflection. So this is what we're going to do next, right after the quick break. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in 2 minutes, so please stay tuned. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Let's continue. Hope you also had a quick stretch and got some fresh air. If you didn't, maybe you want to do that. It's always great to have a quick break. And we're going to continue. And the next step we want you to do actually is to connect the timer UI to the database and store the data. So let's actually do that. And for that, we're going to get back to our SwiftUI view. So let's close off the model here. We will probably need to do some changes there. Let's just get back to our timer feature. And in there we have this view. Let's see if we can get the SwiftUI preview working here by just switching to the timer feature, building. It builds, and let's see if the preview also works. Can take a little time. It seems to work, that's great. Okay, preview agent crashed. Let's just try restarting Xcode. This can happen sometimes, and I was actually having the project still running, so maybe that was related. Let's open the focus timer again. And maybe now let's build first. That's working. Let's resume now. Or do we have to clear the derived data folder as always to get Xcode working again? Different error at least. Human readable. No preview infos. Simulator 15.2. Maybe we just need to switch the simulator. We do have a preview here. Let's change to iPhone 30. Yeah. Okay, we're going to work without previews, but what we have definitely is this view, and if we just run the app, maybe we can do it like that. Let's go to the, you can also run the macOS app. Doesn't really matter. Maybe that's going to be faster than running the iOS one. The app starting takes a little longer when I'm building for macOS, whereas on iOS the simulator is fast. So let's show that, and we have the same here, start, and it counts down to 0, and we see this small dialog. Basically what we want is to just store the data in a database, and then we could, for example, show a list of them here for now. So in order to do that, let's first store the data, and then we're going to list it. In order to store the data, we're going to have to use do some changes on the reducer, which has all the logic. And I think it's also the best place to go into the database, into core data, and just create new entries there. And we can actually have a look at the different actions we have here, and we have them all here listed. Start, button press, stop timer, etc. So where does it make sense to create the entry? That's what we can start with, and I think this is start button pressed. So let's go to start button pressed, and let's just try to add some code where we create a new entry in the database. And the easiest thing I could do is I could just say, okay, we're just going to create one here. So do we have import model? Not yet. Import model. And I already recognize that probably our initializers that we wrote are not public. So we have the timer. It is public. Okay, but the others maybe not. Yeah, this is not public. I think it's convenience public, right? No, public convenience, that's fine. Same here. Same here. They are already public. Okay. Let's get back to the reducer. So basically what we're going to do is create a timer by calling into the initializer, which has all the things that we need. So start it at, and typically where we start is the current date, which is date.now. The categories, we'll just keep them empty for now. The focus topic, we're just going to specify a static one, and we will just do a placeholder topic, and the duration is 0 at the beginning, and this is the default already. So this is we can drop the rest and just use the defaults. So this is the timer, and this is still in memory now, so it's not stored to the database yet. We have to store it to the database, and storing to database, we can have a look back at the code that we had before when we created a project. So this is the initial commit after creating a project. And if we look at the auto-generated code in the persistence layer, we can see that there is a persistence controller, a view context, things like that. And then they're just creating an item by providing also the context. This might be something you might need to do as well. And they just say context.save. So that's basically what they're doing. And we could do that as well, but then we need to hold on to a view context and things like that. And maybe that's what we want, but also maybe we can simplify that a little bit. Let's try with that. So we need some access to a view context. We need access to the persistence controller's view context. Our persistence controller is here. This is the view context. This is the shared persistence controller. This is the container. And we're getting access to the view context, just to look it up again, through the container. So what we need is access to the container here. And this is public, and it has shared persistence controller. So what we could do is, because we have access to this, we could just say persistence controller dot shared dot container dot view context. So we have the view context now. I'm going to not stick with this code, but let's just get it running first. So we have the view context, and now we're creating a timer. We're not providing the context for the timer, so maybe that's something we need to do. So let's go actually into the timer's initializer, and let's just provide the context. So what's the type of the view context? This is NS managed object context. NS managed object context. So this is now a needed addition in addition to the rest, and we might need that everywhere. Also, we need to adjust the init call here, so we pass on the context. Let's do it everywhere as well. And same here. Cool, now we can actually create this with a context, which is our view context. Now last, what we need to do is view context as safe. And this should actually work. So let's see what happens. Manage object context cannot be found in scope. Okay, we need to import core data here. Probably the same everywhere. Right? Yes. Okay, should build now. Still failing. And this time it's saying okay. It's saying that the safe call, this is a function that can throw errors. So we need to try here. And because this is just testing code, I will force try. So in case this, so I'm expecting this to always work basically. This is not safe code. It's just to get this working. It's also, okay, let's keep it. Let's just see if something is safe, and we don't see anything yet, but if we click start, theoretically it should save something into the store. Actually, it should create a new one each time the start button press is called, even though maybe we just pause and continue. We'll fix that later, but let's first see if this is actually working. And for that, I will actually just print out, after we have stored, view context dot. Okay, we need to call somehow into the view context. Maybe we should actually list the whole list of timers that we have stored somewhere. So I am going to create a view for that. Let's comment this out. So we have, we don't have a view yet for the list. So we have the app here. We don't have a list here. Maybe we want to just create a list somewhere. We could create it here. How can I very easily check the database? Let's actually just try to get to the file. So where is the file stored? Let's print that out. Print. We have the container, view context, I mean. Shared container, and then we could try to find out where this is stored. Let's just see what we get here. Okay, it's not really showing much. Let's just breakpoint. Oh, time was up. Start again. Now we're running into this breakpoint. I want to know the... Let's actually have a look into the view context here. Doesn't have the reference. Okay. Print out persistence controller shared. And then container. Let's see what prints out here. Okay, how do I get path? Let me get path of core data SQLite from. Let's just go with that. Let's see if I can find that. Okay, somebody happened to find that out. File manager roles for directory.
Our struggle as artists isn't about appeasing the crowd.
Oh, there is an SQL debug.
Rather, it's about tending to the broken parts inside of ourselves.
Let's use that. This looks amazing. SQL debug and logging.
Of this struggle. To study
Edit scheme.
of self.
Arguments pass and launch.
That wave isn't
And the other one was the standard error output.
rather
Let's see what happens now. Maybe we'll just see what happens on the database level,
This all comes from
which would be great.
understanding that ideas aren't static.
Yeah, we definitely see something. So what happened is select table name and did some things here. Insert into, that's the interesting part here. So we did insert some data and all values were empty though, which is interesting. That's very interesting. Inserting empty data. But we see the location of the file, so we can open it. Let's see if I have an app installed to open it. Oh, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Library. Application support. / missing. Okay, I don't have an SQLite viewer. SQLite viewer macOS. Let's just go for SQLite browser. Actually, there was what was the name? Never mind. Let's just keep with that. Should work. macOS. There we go. And we can install through Homebrew. Well, let's install it like that. Okay, SQLite viewer. What was the name? SQLite browser, right? DB browser. There we go. Now it should have registered for all the files, and I should be able to now open the file. Let's open the project again, and this now should open with that. Great. So we have all these things, and I want to browse the data, and in the timers I want to actually see an entry. And we have 4 entries, and we have 0 seconds pause count. I actually expect the start date to be different, and it is different. So we are storing data into this. But the interesting thing is that, oh yeah, the topic is also placeholder topic. So I'm not sure why the output on Xcode looks like it's inserting nothing, but maybe it's redacted, I'm not sure. Anyways, it's working. And what should happen actually is when I run this, let's remove this code and just mark this incomplete. So whenever I click start, it should actually create a new one. So if I refresh, stop, start, so you see it always creates a new one. And this is not what we want. So we need to also read the data, and this is making things more complicated. Another issue that we have here is, apart from that, we haven't provided all the other types like focus topic, categories, etc. Let's ignore that also, is that we are dependent on the time. And it's hard to test control time if we always use date.now here. So we might need to dependency inject the current time, so we can simulate other times. Also, we are passing this, well, we are accessing a global reference here, and this makes it also impossible to use in our tests a different kind of database that is maybe just in memory. So basically the 2 things I want to fix for now is the date and the persistence controller dependency that is currently not dependency injected. And we will dependency inject them to make them testable. And after that, I will make sure that we basically create a timer and always basically read the timer, the same timer, and work on the same timer in the process of like an unended timer. So that's like the second thing I want to do. So let's first inject the dependencies, and for that we have the timer environment. So let's inject it here. So basically in timer environment, I expect to have, and I'm not sure why this is a variable. Let's keep it a let for now. I expect the view context to be available. So this is a managed object context basically. Next, I need the now date producer. Let's call it like that, now date producer. And this is code that provides us a date, and the date is currently basically the now date. And we can provide different logic here in our tests. So when we initialize this, we of course want to provide them as well. Oops, let's just copy me here. Let's just do it like this. Oops, what just happened? Okay, this is not working as expected. Maybe like this, yeah, okay. Cool, self.manage object context and self.nowDate producer. I'm sure there's a better name for this, but this will work. And so what we can do now, oh wait, this needs to be escaping. Now what we can do here is, instead of calling date.now, we just say nowDate environment.nowDate producer, and we just call into it. Attribute can only be applied to types, not declarations. Yeah, sure. It's getting late. It's really getting late. Okay, back here, this is now calling into the this, and then we don't need the view context here anymore. We just provide the env.managed object context. Let's break it down to make it more readable. And this is env.managed object context. That's safe. So this should be building now. It's failing due to some issue with the initialization of the init method of the environment here. And in the previews, we just want to use a mock. And I think we can just mock. Let's do it like this. Oops. Oh, good. What's happening here? There we go. So we need to provide a managed object context. Object context. Which in the preview we can just call into the persistent control. Oh, this doesn't have access to model. Persistent controller. Persistence controller share dot container dot view context. This is a mouthful, but now date producer. We just call. We're just gonna call .now. Let's make it more explicit. Date now. This should build now here. Now we need to do the same thing here as well. Let's actually do it for this. Okay, now the app should build. Let's run it. Let's see if still things are working as expected. So when we click start, I expect to have a new entry here again. Start. New entry added. Start. New entry added. So it's working as expected. Cool. So first let me just check also these arguments pass on launch. Do we want to keep them only on debug? Not on test. They are on test as well. User run, okay. But on archive, they're not there. Build. Okay, we'll deal with that later. But definitely, I don't want this to happen in release mode. How can I prevent that? I don't have a good idea right now. I'm sure there is a good way. Yeah, it doesn't come to my mind. We could... how can I make sure that I don't forget them in there when I make a release? Unload start error 1, or does it not matter? It might actually matter. I also can't add a to-do there. Let's add it to our to-do list. So remove these entries here. Let's make a screenshot. So we have our to-dos. Make sure not to have these settings turned on when archiving. I have to fix this somehow. And I'll figure it out later. But it's always good to write it down so we don't forget. We also had some created temporary app icon. We could do that. Check how to run SwiftGen in Bar. Okay, so fix missing timer category connection. That's something we just fixed also today. So delete. Let's continue. So the app works, and now we have basically extracted those into the environment. Let's continue. We have them now in the environment. What we also want to do here is to reference always the same timer object. So let's try to fix that. So when we click Start button, what we actually want is that we hold on to a reference, or at least the ID or something, of this timer. And we could just hold this whole object in memory. Probably that's the easiest way to implement this, but if we restart the app, it might disappear anyways. So what we could do instead is each time a user calls start button press, or each time I think we have to handle that anyway, so I think we can actually keep it in memory. Probably that's the easiest way to do it. And where do we keep our data? It's in our state. So I'm just going to keep the data here in the state, and the data we need is the currently running timer, current timer, something like this, and it's of type timer. We need to import model for that, and it is optional, as at the beginning we don't have a timer. It is created when the user clicks start the first time. And also what's important is when we restart the app and there was one timer still stored in the database that is not completed yet, that timer should just continue, or should be completed by the app. So I think the easiest way is to just complete it when the app is restarted, or continue it. So in any case, we need to add a new action here. Do you like the composable architecture? I absolutely love the composable architecture, to be honest. So at the beginning I had some issues with it, specifically about navigation, but the truth is that the hard part of navigation didn't come from the composable architecture. It actually came from SwiftUI itself. And the composable architecture, it has like an opinionated view on things, and how the types are created and things like that. So it can always be kept in the state. But and at the beginning there were some issues, but that was because SwiftUI didn't support some things, and they had to work around some issues. But I believe they just have the right approach to navigation, and also to like controlling the whole state and also the environment. So I think this is it. Like even if there is a better architecture at some point in the future, I think it will be very similar to this architecture. I can't imagine another architecture that is entirely different based on SwiftUI. I think the unidirectional data structure thing here is really goes a long way. And I think a really good continuation of that, to just go talk about this a little bit, is something that I recently read on the forums here related to composable architecture, and it was something with a graph, renaming. actually commented myself, so I might just have to search for my own stuff. There we go. So basically when I read this, and there is a, let me share the link here in the chat. When I read this, and there is a talk linked in here. Here, this one of the examples from David. This is from a web developer, but he basically explains how he thinks a state-managed view should work. And I really liked this idea, and it goes perfectly in line with the composable architecture. And the only thing that we're missing is like a really good visual chart tool or something like that. And if this was created, I think the TCA architecture would be really the gold standard, with also easy to understand kind of state. I think the most complex part is to understand the state, and that's kind of the hard part right now. But I think that's still simpler and solves more problems than any other architecture I have ever used. Like all other architectures were like lacking some things. Either they were not well testable, or deep linking wasn't working properly. And yeah, the two guys from Point 3, they have all of this solved and still working on them. So they're still solving some new stuff, and with Swift also getting more features, they're improving stuff. But it's really looking good. And they're currently learning about how to apply result builders. I also had problems at the beginning. So you also tried out the composable architecture, or are you actually using that as well? How do you like it? So the current timer, and it is nil at the beginning. Unless, oh no, it shouldn't be nil. We should always load from and check from the database. So let's try to build that again. Oh, timer needs to be equatable, so we can put it into the state. Let's make it equatable. Wrong timer. Oh, we have another timer that has the same name. Maybe this will create problems. Let's make it explicit, so we have model.timer. Model. Okay, this makes it equatable. Perfect. Okay, we have the current timer, and maybe that's a good reason to change the name actually to something else. Open focus timer, maybe just focus timer. That would make it more clear. I mean, we haven't shipped it to anyone yet, so we could just rename it to focus timer. Let's see, are we referencing timers? Yeah, let's call it focus timers. Focus timer. Yes, I'm playing with it in a small example app. When I was playing with it, I didn't like it actually. I really started liking it once I fully decided to go for a full app with it, and I struggled with some things, but again, mostly was SwiftUI and navigation, but until I understood it, and once I understood it, it was more a kind of, there are still limits, but those limits are due to SwiftUI again being limited, and I think it will they will resolve over time. And I found a workaround for everything that I wanted to do. Sometimes I had to rethink how I'm structuring things, and it didn't work the exact way I wanted to do it, but I could figure out a way to do it. So it worked out in the end. Okay, so let's continue and finish up the renaming here. So we're going focus timer here. Let's see what else is failing. Timer state should be fine, but we just call it focus timer. Current focus timer. Focus timer. You're not using it in your apps. Yeah, I can understand that. You have to be confident before you can actually use it in a real app. I can totally understand that. It depends on if you have a good working other solution, maybe you stick with it. But if you don't have a good solution for SwiftUI yet, you have to learn something new anyways. So you might just apply this, which is at least, well, you can find a lot of resources online by now, how to apply it, and also a lot of issues on their GitHub or also on the Swift forums. You can find a lot of things there to learn from. Okay. Focus topic, focus timer. It's the focus timer. It's building. I think we have to do more for the renaming, but for now this seems to be building again. So we want to add it to the state. Let's get back to the state. We have the focus timer here, and we can create this by providing the focus timer, current focus timer. It's an optional button, no default value. We just store it. Last used time left. Oh, it's a static one. Now let's do it like this. And on did appear is basically the case that I want to add, where we could load the focus timer, but maybe we don't need that. Maybe we're loading that from wherever we open the screen, which makes more sense, I guess. So we don't need that. This should work. But based on the current focus timer, we might need to adjust these data. Timer is running time. Actually, we might just need the current focus timer, and we get all these information from that. Time is running, time left. Do we get it? Okay, so we have, let's say we have our current focus timer, the time left. We can calculate, can we calculate it from that? We need to know if the current focus timer is currently running. So maybe that's something we're missing in our data here. So in the focus timer, we don't know if this is currently running, if it's in running mode or in break mode. Because the user could go in break mode and then they could close the app. So we need to add something new here, which is, let's call it is running or just running. Running. It's a boolean. And it's not optional. Default value is not running. Or is running. When we create it, it's running. Not sure. We should override it in the. Let's just go with none. We should override it in the initializer. So let's go back to the timer, and this is also focus timer now. In the initializer, we just say if it's running or not. Start it. Focus topic running, and the default. Should we add a default? I think so. When we create a new one, it should always be running at first. Focus topic, self.running, equals running. Okay, we have the running here. Now let's get back. And now when we get a focus timer, actually we don't need anything else, right? Last used time left. Oh, this is for resetting. So this is something we want to keep, because this is for when we reset the timer, how long we make that timer. And this is basically last. We might actually store that in the user defaults or something, or in a database. But timer is running now is part of the focus timer, so we don't need that. Instead, we just go for focus timer, current focus timer dot running. And if that is nil, then the timer is obviously not running. Time left, we can also, I think, calculate last used time left. Okay, but that's not actually the right thing here. Yeah, that's not something we want to pass. We just pass the current focus timer, and we can calculate the time left. And let's actually put that logic into the focus timer object itself. So we want to know public var time left, which is a time interval. How can we calculate that? So if we know the started date, and actually it depends on the current date, and we want to make it testable, so we're going to actually turn this into a function. Move it also down. So we're making this a function which gets the now date and returns a time interval. So now we can say let time passed. The time passed until the now date is basically now date, time interval since start date. It started at. And this is self.start. I like to call into self whenever it's calling into property. I know that most people don't do that, but that's something I find more explicit because it's clear if this is a local variable or an instance one. This says it's not actually it's actually an optional, but it is specified as a non-optional in the database, so I'm expecting it to always be there. And we're also making sure it's there. This is also not an optional. So this is the entire time passed. Entire time passed. And then we want to make sure that if we're currently in a running state, okay, we don't know when we last continued to run or when we last paused. So this is not going to work. We just have the pause counter. What we also need is if we're in a running state, we need to know when last time the we also need to, okay, if we know the duration, if we actually know the duration in seconds, are we going to restore the duration in seconds every second into the database? Maybe that's the let's go for the easy solution here. And the easy solution is actually to do that. So time left then is just, okay, entire time passed still from started at minus entire time passed minus the duration Okay, I'm not sure if this is correct. So we have a 25-minute timer. So okay, we also don't know the length. Okay, we need to provide also the full length or something like that. Is it the duration? Yeah, the duration is, no, this is starting with 0, so this is the current, okay, this is the running duration. Okay, this is the running duration. Then I also want to specify the total duration. So we need to make this more clear. We have a duration here, which is not clear what this means. So this is the running duration. Running duration in seconds, I would say. And then we can also add a total duration in seconds. Let's make it int 32 as well. Let's also make it not optional. Great. And next we're going to add it here. So first let's make a total time of it. Change this to running duration. Running duration in seconds. And total duration. Actually, maybe this is not total duration, because this sounds like it's with the breaks included, with the pauses included. Instead, what I want to tell here is the duration where the timer is should fire. How's the name? How's the term? I think we have it here. Timer is up. Timer up duration. Timer up running duration. Running duration until timer is up. Duration until running duration until timer is up. Till timer up, something like that. Let's rename this here as well. So timer run out duration. I like this, timer run out duration. Timer run out duration. We have running duration 0 and timer run out duration, and this doesn't have a default. This actually needs to be provided. We have the running duration in seconds. We need to get the running duration here, and same with self.timer run out duration is int32 of the timer run out duration in seconds, and this is actually in seconds as well. I think it's the wrong name. Timer run out duration in seconds. Okay, this is also timer run out duration in seconds. Yeah, looking good. Now we can calculate the time left, entire time passed for now date minus or time interval since the start date, which we maybe just don't need. We just say timer run out duration minus running duration. I think it's as simple as that. And this actually doesn't need the now date, so we can actually go here and say public var time left time interval, because it's not dependent on the now date. Okay, step by step, we're getting closer. So we're missing some things here. Let's just recreate this whole focus timer here, focus timer, because some things have changed. And the running state, duration, things like that. This is env.manage object context. Env, no, we don't need to, no, we do, we need it. Now date producer, and let's call into it. And we have no categories, focus topic, placeholder topic, and timer run out duration. This is now the new thing we need. And I believe for this we used to call this self default thing, so, which was on the timer itself. Somewhere here. There we go. Timer state last used time left. Timer state last used time. This is not perfect. We're going to rework this. I think we have we have this here. And let's store it in the variable. There we go. It's still not building. Some more to fix. So now we need a parameter called current focus timer, which makes sense. Focus timer, and we're just going to go for nil in the test here. Assigning property to itself. Yes, we need to call into the current focus timer and ask for its time left. And if it doesn't have, if there is no current focus timer, the time left is, for now, let's call self last use time left. So here, and this is now the place where we basically can add the actual data from the database, if there is some. And this is now in a view, so we want to access this from the store, but we don't have access to a store here, so we're on a global level. And the question is, how do we handle this properly? We could actually make it being called in the did appear of the timer view. Does that make sense? I don't think so. I think the timer view should not be responsible for reading the data from the existing timers list. Instead, we should basically just have the timer pass to it. So we have to read it here somehow, but it's top level. And we don't have a reducer and all that. Maybe we need to introduce one now. Which does make sense, I think. Now we are introducing one here on this level as well. Let's try that. App entry point, content view. Let's actually give it a proper name. Let's call it, so this is app entry point. Reducer. Let's rename this to app entry point as well. Let's actually make a refactor in case it works across cross packages. App entry point view, and then we have the store. App entry point store. Let's copy some code from here to make it simpler to get started. So let's just call it app entry point state, app entry point action. And for the app entry point action, I think I will just go for the case did appear for now. And as for the state, we probably could just load the focus timer here, and everything else I will just remove. So this could actually start with a nil one. And we just give it some data when did appear is called. Let's see if that works. Next up, the reducer. Let's copy that as well. This case is going to be a little bit more complicated. And actually, this is we will need access to the manage object context on this level. Maybe the now date reducer. I think this is actually an environment. Let's just call it app.env. And let's make these accessible publicly. You might be able to reuse this. Maybe we should extract it somewhere. Reusable. Is there any kind of utility that's imported everywhere? Probably we need a model everywhere. That's not really a utility. Let's give a new one. Called utility. Utility. And let's create app.env file. Oops. App.env. Okay, now let's create also as a package, as a target. Utility. Resources. No resources needed. Just utility, and then do I have dependencies? Not now. Let's just keep it as is, and then we're going to depend on utility basically everywhere. At least every feature. So let's go. Let's keep that alphabetically. This is right. And I think here is the next place. Now we have app.env here, we have the reducer here, utility extracted. Let's first replace this one here, so we no longer need the timer env. We can just use the app.env here as well. App environments. And same here. But we have to, of course, define these properly. So this is our app entry reducer. with app entry state. Let's go create that first. Oh, it's already there. App entry state, app entry action, and our app env. Need to import the utility, of course. Same here. And the actions are much simpler. We just have a onAppear right now. Nothing else. And onAppear, we're going to add some logic. For now, I will just print, or let's just break and just say not yet implemented. Okay, we have to go to app entry point. Let's see if this builds. Nope. Oh. Import core data. Any scheduler off is also from import combined schedulers. And that makes it work. Next is there's no member onAppear. onAppear, I mean. onAppear, but actually I think did appear as the action that's happening. onAppear is the SwiftUI call. Okay, we have a placeholder here, that's nice, but I will actually call into onAppear first. So this is SwiftUI navigation. Here we go, onAppear. And we just perform. We need to put it into view store first, view store, and we need to provide a store also. Let's go and continue copying things. So we have a store here and an init method. Let's add it here as well. And the store is app entry state to app entry action. Now we can go into view, view with import composable architecture with store. Not view with store with view store. Okay, with view store, then we have access to view store. Now we can say view store dot send, and our action is did appear. Still have to fix this focus timer thing here, but we now have our own store. Now we can just access view store dot current focus timer. Just pass it down. View navigation at the proper place later. Ah, yes, that's true. Missing store makes sense. Same like timer view. Let's just copy the store. And actually, I'm seeing we're creating an environment. Let's fix that as well in a minute. Of course, the type has to be with the app entry point reducer, but the environment is the same, and the init method is now also the same. Okay. Now we have this. Let's just run this. Let's just see what happens if we run the Mac app. Oh, I just want to see if this is still running. And build is failing. Due to app entry point now needing a store. Now we have to create a store here, much like we did it here as well. Does that make sense? Entry point, app entry point state. App entry point state is still not having an initializer, and we need to provide an, but actually I thought that I wanted to call this, so does this actually need an initializer? No, we just give it this. Now it should be possible to just create one like this. App entry point state, app entry point state. Okay, this is not the actual error. We have another error, which is that this is no longer working and or not needed actually. Now it's building. Let's run the app. Is it still working? Counting down. Okay, and the feature has not disappeared, and we can continue. That's actually because it's now building. Let's actually stage our changes and also check if we have any leftovers. It's looking good. And this is kind of new, but we have it to do for that. This is app entry reducer. These are new. Category with context. Category group extension. Focus timer extension. Which entry text. We have some changes here. Timer reducer. Looking good. Store. The view. Have the app env extracted. And the package, that's looking nice. Continue. Actually, we have not much time left, so stream is getting close to the end. And we just have 10 minutes left, so let's just try to finish up what we were working on and then just summarize what we did and what we need to do next, and then close up the stream here. But yeah, let's finish up the extraction of app-env. So we have this thing here, which is repeated again and again. And this is just for when we want to create a how should we call it? This is a mocked one basically. So let's create an extension so we can always use this. And let's just make it on if we have a debug build. So let's make an extension to app-env. And only if it's a debug build. And in that case, let's provide a static. Let's make a static let. Let's try let first, and just call it mocked. And this just returns an app-env, which looks exactly like this. And this needs access to the persistence controller, which is in the model, I think. So we are importing model everywhere then anyways. Nothing to do. Nothing we can do there. Actually, maybe we should move it out elsewhere. Where are we going to use this? Not sure. Let's make it like this. This is now building. And then the interesting thing is we can, instead of this, just say mocked. And it's not building because it's internal. Public. And this should actually fail if we just switch to a release build, because we don't have an if debug here. Let me try that out. We just go and make a release build. Build. And the build failed. No such module combined schedulers. Okay, we might need to import in the utility combined schedulers. Makes sense. Do we actually need the composable architecture? No, just combined schedulers. And we don't have it explicitly mentioned, so let's mention it explicitly. Package 0.3 combined schedulers. Just the URL from, and then the version is 0.53. And the description, let me copy this. Oops. There we go. Now we can reference it in our utility target where we need it as a dependency. product. What is it called? Let's look it up. So the package is called Combined Schedulers, and the library is called Combined Schedulers with written like this: Combined Schedulers, and the package is Combined Schedulers. No condition, comma. Now let me build again. So it is failing as expected, but it's saying, okay, it needs to import model. This is hard because model, okay, model is not importing utility, so this should work. Let's just call model. Let's build again. I'm expecting it to fail, but I'm expecting it to fail at a specific place. It doesn't fail there yet because there are other issues right now. I'm expecting it to fail due to this if debug in the app.env, and I'm accessing the app.env in a place where actually I'm not in a debug mode. Yeah, has no member mock. That's exactly what I was expecting, so everything is working as expected. Now I can go back to debug, and I just need to make sure that I also put if debug for every preview provided, which is also a good thing anyways, because these are all not something that we want to have in the app. This is just for development anyways. So now it should work. Oh, this is an end if. There we go. I want to put it everywhere we call these mocks, and I want to actually check the all the views where we have this. So this is working now, and we also have the mocked environment here. Now we can just call mocked. Let's just give it the if debug treatment as well. There we go. This is making it much easier to write these stores. Cool. We were here trying to implement this. So when we call this, we're sending the did appear, and on the did appear, basically what we want to do next is not yet implement, continue here by reading the current focus timer from database. And also we want to make sure that in the timer reducer we are extracting this, so this is also not yet implemented. Make sure to use the we actually have already in the state, so we might actually just say when the start button is pressed. No, let's do it next time. So make sure to use the current focus timer from the state. Basically what we want. See if we can build this app. If it still works. So nothing broken. We can make a commit then with this incomplete state, and we'll continue next time on these two things. So what have we done? We have basically turned app entry point, return app entry point to a TCA, apply, basically apply TCA on app entry point, plus we have extract, or did we just add logic here to the timer reducer? Yeah, it's start adding, start saving running timers into start persisting. Let's just say start persisting running timers. And again, Swift format is doing its thing. Let's see the changes. That's fine with me. It's indenting due to the if debug. And here, yeah, it's just making it more readable. Same annotation thing here. Yes, and same here. And adding a comma there, trailing comma. Looking all good. Let's amend it to our last commit. And this is looking good. Let's push it. Let's document what we did here. Also in our Notion page for today's session summary. There we go. Actually, let's add app preview of Pushoji app. And let's link it again. So getting back to our start of the stream, if you missed that, definitely check out after I ended the stream, the stream video, because we have reviewed this app at the beginning of the stream in detail, and I tried to provide some feedback to the developer, and the developer was also in the chat. Maybe he's still here, but just no writing. But anyways, this is a great app, and it's using SharePlay. So if you want to have fun with your friends and do push-ups while doing that, please check out this app. I'll just add the project again. Let me just run the review command again. So you should have the link to it in the chat now. Check that out, and also I'm adding it here. App review of Pushoji app. Then we didn't come across more blockers. Learnings, not really. But next steps, clearly, that we want to. Let's first copy the next steps from last time because they're still open things. So connect the timer to them. Basically, these are the things we're working on. And we want to continue doing that next time. But more specifically, we want to continue within the, we're just in the, did appear. So we're in the app entry point reducer. Continue with reading current timer from database in app entry point reducer. So that's clear what we can continue next time. And let me see what I have here. Cool, so this is now getting to the end. I'm now getting to the end of the stream. And let me check actually if there's something we can, somebody we can rate, who's also doing something with iOS development or similar. And let me actually check here, double check, because last time I also checked on the rate side and actually I couldn't see anybody, but there were people actually streaming. So this time I'm double checking and I'm not seeing anybody doing tag stream right now. So nobody I can rate, looks like. Okay. Then we're ending the stream now, basically on the note that, again, reminder, check out the push app, the Pushoji app. It's a really great app. Also, I'm sure we'll get more updates with the feedback, and also with more feedback, provide feedback as well. And oh, something I forgot with the Pushoji app, I actually had to provide a app rating for that. So I will do that right after the stream. I forgot that in the stream. I have to add it to my session. Okay, let's get back to the app quickly. Just add it to the review. So this is the reviews document, and we reviewed it. Let me add a reminder here. How can we remind? Here we go. Don't forget to give the app a nice, honest rating. Cool. So if anybody's still in the stream who's watching this video, please make sure to give the app Pushoji a rating. It's in the chat, linked in the chat. You can also find it here. That's the name, Pushoji Do Pushups. Make sure to give it a rating so the developer can, so to help out the developer. I will do that right after the stream. And other than that, thank you very much for joining in the stream. I wish you all a nice evening, a nice night, or whatever time it is, a nice weekend. Oh, weekend is too early for that. Sorry for that. Mixing up with the Friday stream, but I wish you a nice day. And thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you everyone who wrote in the chat. Don't forget to follow me if you don't follow me yet, because this really helps me out. I also have a link to my YouTube. I will be uploading these videos because my first video was now 2 weeks ago, and Twitter actually deletes videos on demand after 2 weeks, so it will be deleted today. So I will be moving all my old videos over to YouTube, and you can find my YouTube channel easily in my About page here on Twitch, and please follow me there as well. And I wish you all a nice evening, and see you all next time. See you on Friday or next week. Bye.